His
Is he in
name.
yet then? Can't see him.
He's not in yet. No, his name is Mad something. So I'm just going to put Mad for now until I find his name.
Ooh, chocolate!
It's not streaming yet, is it? Right, what are you doing? Go on your laptop. Go on. Do you bring them fingers back in?
Thingy.
Hello?
No, I'm still outside.
You're still outside. Give hugs and then just go straight into bed.
Let's have a party in the...
Is it wet all night or is it just race
It's wet first, like majority of race 1, 2/3 of it, and then half of race 2, pretty much. 40. See you in the morning, Jamie. Love you. Fuck his constructors thing at the minute. I can wait. Data autumn, mad. Yeah, send change out. Go to craft. Mad. Where's craft there? Mad. If you don't fucking turn up, I'm just going to start without him. If you don't turn up, then I'll say, right, you fucked off. See you in a bit. Because he was meant to race last week and the week before. And that'll be his 3 chances gone. So Bryn, Phil, Shane up Barkeeks, oh shit. Also no Leon Fern. He normally don't come in till last minute.
Okay.
Nah, because of work or something, so he comes in very last minute. Right, I'm just going to quickly run to the toilet. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the night. Just shut the back doors for me, Beth. Right. It's not Mad, it's Max.
Max Mulder's just joined.
Yeah, that's the guy.
This door, yeah?
Yeah.
Put the back door open and that, because Floyd's out there and there's...
Alright, okay. I did mean the back door, but okay.
Back door. Why do I need to shut this door?
In some parts of the UK, it's £2, 2p a litre.
Fucking hell, really?
That one. Right, give me this one, what it says, I made half of it.
Later.
Love you.
Love you too. £2, over £2 a litre, Jesus. Time are we on? 3 minute 2. So who are we missing? So Leon Fernie, Stealth Sloth, and Leon Fernie stuffs off Aidan Bennett yet again.
Who else has dropped out and got this new guy coming?
Kraft. That Kraft didn't turn up for the first three. I kept messaging him. He messaged basically just before the season started, like 2 weeks before the season started, about joining. He sorted a team out with Aidan and everything, and then nobody's heard from him. He was from that other league as well, and then all of a sudden nobody heard from him, and it was like, what the fuck? And that were it. No one's still heard anything from him, so it's like, right, okay, so what do we do, sort of thing. So yeah, it was a case of kick him out because we give that 3 chances and then you're gone if you haven't turned up without valid reason, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Leon Fernie will be kicked out in a minute as well because I think this is his second. Aidan's missed a few, so I'm just going to kick him out twice. He's been at work. Once he was watching Scotland. The 2 times now I've not heard from him, so he's probably going to go. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, just load track map and Speedo when we're on. Right. I'm on that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport here for rounds 9 and 10 of the GT3 Pro-Am season. I'm your host, Matthew Duffin, joined in the commentary box by a very special guest tonight. We've got Kieran Argent with us. Good evening, Kieran.
Evening, Matt.
You well?
I'm doing better than I was in earlier in the week when I had no voice, but as I say, glad to help.
Dan, busy at work tonight, so isn't able to take part in the commentary as usual. So Kieran will be with us doing the cameras and hopefully able to try and keep his voice as we bring you the action live from Zolder and from a very, very wet Zolder. And we saw last week at Circuit of the Americas in the Pro Series, the thunderstorms. Well, they followed us to Belgium. Although it's not quite thunder, it is still bad enough. 13 of the best Pro-Am drivers out there on the track at the moment, still awaiting Stelfsloff, Aidan Bennett and Leon Fernie to get into this session. But a very tricky track and a very difficult situation for some of these drivers to be in. They've got a lot of stuff left to do in this league, and this man in particular, currently leading the championship by some 22 points, has a lot of work to do in the rain. Bryn is second place in the standings with Ukbar in third. Holty is P4. Just a bit behind Ukbar with JM Grill, 6 points behind him. Welshie down in P6 with Dean Wisocki in 7th. Lucas Roth is P8 with Smithy in 9th. DJ Phil in 10th with Stelfsloff in 11th. That Bozzy Boy 12th. And then we've got Leon Fernie, new boy Max Mulder in the session as well tonight. So we'll see what he can do. Aidan Bennett and Shane yet to score. So new driver on the grid, Max Mulder, in an Audi as well. So we'll wait to see what he can do and bring to the table. In terms of Constructors' Championship, though, it's Pick & Mix Motorsport who lead the way from Terminal Velocity Racing in the Ginetta. Some 29 points between them. 11 behind is Teletubby Racing from Terminal Velocity Racing. Then the Mercedes-Benz boys of Keegs and Holty really going to give it some good guns out there. 26 behind them is MC Motorsport in the Lamborghini with the Super Crash Bros in P5. MyMate Racing down in 6th, Getting Quicker MyMate in 7th. And R Sports Racing yet to get off the mark in this one. And Kieran, Zolder's proved a bit of a tricky track before when we came here and it was raining. I imagine it's going to be pretty much the same tonight.
Yeah, I was quite fortunate because I missed when we were here last time. I was on holiday, but it seemed a track and wet load of puddles for me, a few of the apexes. We'll have to make sure who does or who keeps it in the right way.
Yeah, who keeps it in the right way. Obviously, track limits are a key issue around here, especially at the chicanes where you can take a lot of track limits, but obviously the drivers have got the wet conditions tonight, and these curbs here on the chicanes, especially the first and second one, seem to gather right on the apex of the corner. So the drivers have got some tricky conditions to see what they can be up against, as Max Mulder there then just gaining on the back of the Mercedes-Benz, and away he goes on his lap. Practice session and 20 minutes practice session for these drivers to get their lap times in and get some practice under their belts, get final preparation sorted on their setups and see what can happen. Evening to Disco McDisco Face in the chat. Senna in the chat as well. Max for the W, he says, and Pierre Motorsport, good evening to you. If you do like what you see here at Simply Motorsport, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you are new, as well as hit that bell to be notified. Obviously, the pros will be here tomorrow, but the weather at the minute, Kieran, looks a lot better for us than it does for these guys.
I think I'm struggling regardless at this track, so I'll take whatever I get, really. From what going by practice, anyway.
Yeah, going off of last night, yeah. I think Kelly's in a similar boat to you at the moment then. So 13 drivers out there is Lucas Roth getting the chicane wrong. And what a nice sight to see Lucas Roth back. Obviously, the news yesterday that he was in A&E after collapsing at work. It's great to see him back out there on track and great to see him recovered and well enough to be here tonight. It's nice to see. Obviously, Welsh is back with us as well. Obviously, Welsh, Keegs' dad, and took him to the hospital. So it's nice to see them both out there tonight. And great to see Keegs fit, as always, to be back on the track. So glad to hear that he was okay after last night's scare. This man, Bryn, though, a good season so far in the GT3s as he's just gone a little deep at the chicane. But what can he do? It's a bit slippy for both Audis on the exit. Kieran, he's been impressive so far this season. He's definitely upped his game.
He seems to have taken the Kelly approach, we keep calling it. Not necessarily the quickest driver, but if one keeps it in a straight line.
He is. He seems to be consistent more than quick. As Stelf Sloth gets in the session, so it's great to see Stelf Sloth here. So 14 drivers out there. We are slow waiting Aidan Bennett and Leon Fernie. But you're right, he has definitely stepped up his game and has definitely taken that Kelly approach to his racing this year. He's just upgraded his steering wheel as well. So trying to get the better hardware in. This man Ukbar, last week's domination at COTA. What will he do this week? He's looked quick in testing in the week, but the testing's been mainly dry because of the forecasts. The forecast today, though, has gone mainly wet. What are we expecting this Ginetta to do around this circuit?
I'm not too sure if will be good will be with the downforce level it can carry compared to like other cars, but there's not really any straight for it to be outrun.
Oh, as there then we see Holty round, and Ukbar looks like he's done exactly the same as Lidl Leach is currently the quickest man on track. Stolzloff just gets into the session. Max Mulder is 3/10 off him from Holty, from JM Grow, Smithy and Lucas Roth at the minute, and as you can see there, Holty struggling to get going, and Ukbar was on the grass as well. And let's not forget the last time we was at Zolder, as Kieran mentioned, it was wet like this. Smithy took his very first sim racing race win. Can he repeat that feat tonight? The other race winner in Pro-Am was KLF 900 at the time. But can this man achieve another race win? He's been on the podium last week. He looks like he's got to do it. Could he do it again tonight? He wants another podium, that's for sure. As Disco in the chat, looks like a few cars could do with softening the rear end by the looks of things, as that was DJ Phil spinning in the background. Softening the rear end, says Disco then in the chat. And that might not be a bad idea for a few of these cars.
Especially if it's, say, soften the suspension and up the downforce to give the car as much grip as it can have.
As time's coming in from Dean Wysocki, he's just gone 7th quickest, and how will this man do? He was also on the podium in race 1 last week at COTA, so looking to back that up with another podium and looking to really get in that top 5 of this championship, but needs to work hard in getting that done. And you just see, look, how treacherous. If I remember rightly, it was this part of the track last time for the Pro-Ams and the Pros, and you would have been in the Mercedes last time. In fact, no, you wasn't here. You said you was on holiday. The Mercedes was terrible. And Dean, you can just see, look, having to be so cautious on the throttle through turns 2 and 3.
It just looks like the rear wants to step out under power.
As Senna tries to draw in there, but cannot get in the session as it's online championship and wouldn't be allowed in the session because we are awaiting 2 other drivers. As Dean then trying to get his season going. Talking about one man who needs to get his season going, it is this man who's exiting the pit lane. That's why the cameraman's not picked him up yet. There he is. You've got to stay within that white line. Now that's going to be an interesting one, because on testing last night we found that the pit exit was actually very wet, and it really does come out sort of straight onto turn 2 onto the bend. So cutting that pit line could be an interesting one tonight.
To be honest with you, I'm more interested about pit entry because it goes into the second to last corner, and Some people want
whoa.
the break to go into the pits.
Yeah, it is going to be both. I think are quite interesting because if you're trying to overtake a car, and a car's exiting the pits, I think both could be interesting. Like you say, coming into the pits and coming out the pits, we'll have to keep our eyes on tonight as that Bozzy Boy gets the chicane right, but must have hit a puddle on the exit because he's off into the gravel, and he's really starting to struggle out there. But we'll have to see what he can do. Max Mulder then in his Audi. What is he able to do? Can he get himself... Oh, as DJ Phil, I think, tapped the back of an Audi. And I tell you what, Phil, don't be doing that in qualifying all the race. And Max will not want to be doing that one either as he clipped a puddle and round he went. There's Holty. You're just seeing a lot of drivers here, Kieran, really struggling out there in this practice session. And the practice session is basically set up to the conditions race 1 will be. So it's interesting to see at the minute that a lot of drivers struggling, and this is kind of what they're going to be facing that first race. Shane hasn't come out the pitch yet. We've not seen that times from Stoveslav, Liam, Welshie Ukbar or DJ Phil. So a lot of interesting stuff to happen, Kieran. What car suits this tracking conditions best tonight, do we think? Audi, Lamborghini, Ginetta or the Mercedes?
I think in the wet conditions, I think you've got to look at the Audi or the Ginetta. I think the Mercedes just have too much power to the rear wheels.
As we've...
with Dean, before he disconnected, around turn 2 and 3, it just wanted to step the rear end out.
We have lost Dean, so we hope Dean can get himself back in. 10 minutes left of the practice, and he's still got qualifying to get in as well. This is the online championship, so it doesn't not let you in at the 2-minute mark. You can get in at the very end. It might put you dead last, but you can still get in for the race. In terms of milestones then tonight, in terms of the manufacturer wins or pole position, the Mercedes-AMG in Pro-Am alone can take its 50th 50th manufacturer win if a Mercedes-Benz wins both races. If a Mercedes-Benz gets one pole position tonight, it will have its 50th pole position in Pro-Am. As the other cars are pretty much nowhere near that. There is no Porsches to take the 50th pole position overall for the Porsche. In terms of pole positions, well, there's only one man dominating that list. Not yet at his 50th, though, but any of the highest Pro-Am driver is Ukbar, who is on 10 pole positions. Can he improve that tonight? And in terms of appearances, again, Fury made his 150th appearance last night. We did miss that one. The highest person in this is DJ Phil on 156. The next person to reach 150 will be Little Leach. In terms of race wins, it is... And you've got to look all the way down the list as far past as Little Leach on 6 race wins in the Pro-Am. I even had to go past your name there, Argent, in terms of race wins.
I think I've got 5, not 6, but as I say, they're all in Pro-Am, which I'm looking like I'll be back there next season with the amount of race funding for this season.
Yeah, it says 6. 2 in Season 2, 1 in Season 3, and 3 in Season 4. So, interesting. Oh, JM Grill there. An interesting pit exit line. And that, in the race, would pick him up an investigation for sure. Now, I am on note duty, as Danny's away working tonight, so I am on note duty, taking the notes for everybody. And making sure that the stewarding is above board. And, in fact, Kieran, I might need you... In fact, no. I'll tell you what I will do. I will have to get in touch with somebody to save... Ah, there we go. So you're on note duty as well. And I need to message one of these drivers. I'm going to have to message Liam to save the replays for this race. As we're going to need somebody to make sure the replays are saved. Because obviously with no Dan, we're needing the stewards to have the replay saved. And I've currently got 2 touring car stewarding to look at. So I have no room. I know that for sure.
Necessary. I can try. I'll try as well in case.
So then, practice session, 8 minutes left. Dean Wysocki back in the session. Great to see. Bozzy Boy's gone P8. But if it is like race 1 conditions, the track should start to dry out the final third of this race. I don't think it's raining. Is it? I think the rain has stopped. I might be mistaken, though.
On board the car and have a look to see what...
Nope, still raining. Interesting then. So I'll have to see what happens as we go into this session then. Get your predictions in the chat. We will get a poll up in just a moment for who you think will be on pole position. But if you've got any comments in the chat, let me and Kieran know what you think about it and what you think these drivers are going to do and who you think will take pole position. Who's your tip for Paul Kieran in this one, by the way, when we get into the qualifying session?
Well, as it stands at the moment, obviously Little Leach will be the clear one, but as I say, we're not sure. A bit Max is a bit unknown at the moment. They could come in and take it off Little Leach.
Sorry, apologies at the minute. I'm just messaging Liam on the PlayStation so I can get him to save the replays. Right, that is that done. So for Liam then, he's got a job to do in terms of getting up the standings. For everybody else, in terms of Dean Welsh, Bar Shane and DJ Phil, they just need to set a lap. Liam, in the chat actually, this track is undrivable, he's saying. Disco, Little Leach for the win. So Liam saying the track is undrivable out there. That doesn't bode very well, as you can look at the state of it. It is very wet, although the rain has stopped now, so the last 6 minutes the track should dry. And they're saying the track is undrivable. Puddles absolutely everywhere. And so far, Liam, the first driver in the chat, saying that he's struggling. So interesting to see. That is the situation at the minute.
We knew Liam was struggling last night, so it may just be a continuation of last night. I don't know if Ben has gone to practice today. But I'll see if I can jump on board when he's next out and see where he's struggling maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see and have a look. Hopefully he's not struggling too bad, and he'll want to score some big points. A lot on offer here. Who we got on board with? Stove Sloth then coming through turn 2. Bit wobbly through there. So no session times have been beaten at the moment. They're all still sort of lapping similar, but it'll be about the consistency they're doing at the minute. And it'll be about getting the setup bang on for the race, though. As we go into, it's not even the wet, it's the puddles, says Liam in the chat. So that's interesting. So it's not the wet conditions, it's just the puddles catching them out. And with it being a night race, Sergeant, you'll know better than me. I've only done 2. I suppose when it is wet, the puddles are a bit less visible.
You could say that. As I say, it depends on the track lighting around the track. Obviously, some tracks have the street lighting around the outside, but some, like this one, don't. So this one probably harder to see than others.
Smithy in the chat saying that Smithy is only ever lucky in the wet. Ukbar saying the conditions. Oh, Stealth Sloth there really squeals the tyres as he spins there. Ukbar in the chat as well saying that the conditions are horrendous. Well, that is the way the live weather system works. The rain has stopped though, so let's go on board a car. Let's try and find a car out there. Just go on the roof cam or something to be able to see what the track is like, because it does look like it is. Yeah, look, it is slowly drying, but like Liam says, it's the puddles which take a lot longer to dry, Kieran. But the track is definitely drying out there.
It seems that way. I've said of a couple of places you don't really want to be touching the curves, because that's where the puddles are forming.
There's a big one, yeah, you just see that. Oh, and look at the hairpin, really bad through the hairpin. Puddles are literally everywhere, says Liam. Another puddle just through that little kink there. And as we come down to the final chicane, we'll do a lap on board Little Leach then, and we'll see what the track conditions is like as Max moves out the way. So through the chicane, look, puddle on apex, takes sort of the middle line through the track, nothing through the final part of the chicane. So this then, the start of the lap. You can see it very wet, puddle on the start straight there, but you can definitely see the dry line coming. Good evening to Peaceful Stepdad. Through turn 1 they come then. And Little Leach a little wide on the apex of the apex there. Doesn't seem to be any puddles through there at the minute. There's one pit exit and a couple. Oh, look at turn 2. Absolutely horrendous through turn 2. Look at how steady Little Leach has got to be. Tries to get back on the power now. Wow. Turn 2 into turn 3. Absolutely horrendous through this section of track.
They seem to be in lines across the track, not like...
Yeah, as if it's running the whole way across. And look at that, you come out of turn 3, Kieran, and it's just bone dry.
I know there's a couple of puddles here you've got to watch out for.
Yeah, look at that. Right on the apex of the first part of the chicane. Look at this section then, a huge puddle there. And it seemed that last week at COTA didn't seem to be this many puddles, did it? As if the draining system at COTA is a lot better than here.
I'm not going to lie, I was rather surprised last week about how little puddles there were.
Yes.
When we drove there in season 2 or 3, I remember a lot more puddles, but, as I say...
it really does seem to be tonight then that Sector 1 is full of puddles. The minute you're through that first chicane and over the hill, it does seem to clear up quite nicely. But Sector 1 absolutely covered in. And until you kind of get to here, and with it being a slower part of the track, they're just not clearing. 1 minute 50 left to go then. Are we going to start to see times improving? Little Eats looks like he could be on a better lap. The track is definitely drying out there. And the only people in the pits are Holty and that Buzzy Boy. So they may not get time for one more run, as Dean just goes quicker. So the track is definitely drying then. Dean down to the 141s. As we say, a good evening to N Plava. Little Eats was coming towards the line. Is he going to find any improvement? I don't think he did. I think he'd have crossed the line by now, but so still second place for Little Each. Here comes Max Mulder then on his debut. And what is his time going to be? Coming down through the final corner. Does that Mercedes with it drying, does that give the Mercedes the upper hand with it drying, maybe?
I think it's not close enough yet. I think it's still a bit too wet for the Mercedes. Depends if Dean's gone out on slick tyres or not.
Well, he did gamble it last night, didn't he, in practice? He did take that gamble last night in practice, and it did kind of pay off for him. Let's go to Dean Wysocki, and let's just see what Dean's doing. Running a good amount of fuel, and he's coming through the first sector. I think he's just crossed the timing screen. So let's see if Dean is up on his times here as he comes towards Sector 2. This part you've got to be careful with, and Dean does an absolute mega job until he gets to that bit, and that is really going to hurt the tyres. In terms of spinning him around like that. But Dean will carry on his way. He's come under criticism in the past of just returning to the pits on a situation like that. But he carries on. That's not going to help. Little Each saying love it in the chat. And an evening to Fury's granddad as well. And Pierre in the chat. Zolders probably haven't been improved since the 80s. And if this was the real life F1 drivers, there'd have been red flags. Well, we know that for a fact because they did it at, I can't remember where they did it the other week. Dean was actually purple in Sector 1. But then obviously had the spin in Sector 2. So the track, Kieran, definitely drying. And drivers on last laps might start to see an improvement. Max Mulder here, just behind Holty and Lucas Roth, who are currently 4th and 5th. Max is in P3. So these three on the track together. And Holty and Keegs' first sectors wasn't great. Max is a green. So is it that a bit of an improvement? Mike Matthews in the chat. Peaceful Explosion. Turn 2 here in the wet is horrendous. He would have obviously driven the Mercedes. Here comes Holty and Max then to the line. Are we going to see any improvements on their times? Max does go second, near enough 1 second off of Dean Wysocki. So Dean Wysocki setting that early benchmark in the practice session. Are we surprised by that?
Not going to lie, I wasn't expecting Mercedes to be at the front. I always thought it'd be like an Audi track, if not Bookbar and Ginetta, but as I say, the weather conditions are catching a lot of people out.
They are indeed then, so let's see what happens. And in this qualifying session, it is going to be an absolutely mega session for all of these drivers. Get your votes in the chat, and the poll is out. Little Each, Max Mulder, Holty or Lucas Roth, as Welshie has just got himself a grid penalty. That is at least a minimum 1 place grid penalty. And Bryn, DJ Phil and everybody, as the rain is back for qualifying, are starting to come out onto the track now. Watching in silence as usual, says Mike Matthews in the chat. And Dean Wysocki giving it a big lol as well. So a good evening to Dean as well. 18 people currently watching, 13 likes. Guys, girls, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Pro will be back tomorrow night. And then we have the touring cars at Brands Hatch GP, the final round of 16 cars on the grid. Who will make that top 12 shootout for Not Kill? Pro-Am back next week at the halfway stage of the season in GT3s at Spa. And we have got the F2s coming up in a couple of weeks' time, back on a Sunday night after the F1's finished. And that will be a bit different because I'll be bringing you the commentary on that one, not Dan Davis. But the F2s will be a sprint race and a feature race with a one-shot qualifying. So make sure you keep your eyes out for that then. Kieran, you know as well as I do, the best time to get out on track in a ret race is now. Is it really about do or die in this first couple of minutes?
My question would be, is anyone going to gamble the slicks for the first minutes?
Yeah, or anybody is good enough as Sooty Apex to gamble the soft tyre. A massive shout out to Audio Sport in the chat, our beloved sponsor. If you want to go and check out what they do, the link is in the description, or go to Audio Sport on Facebook and find out what they do. Our fantastic sponsor, who are always here backing us up every single week. What a guys they are. And KLF, Kelly Davis, the man, the myth, the legend, who's brought Audio Sport here as a sponsor. Bryn does look like he's the first man out on track. Let's get the track map and the speedo loaded as Bryn then comes towards the line and will be the first man, I do believe. There's 2 cars in front of him, in fact. His teammate Shane, now this important, I've just clicked on. His teammate Shane in the pits cannot qualify for this race as he retired in race 1 last week on his first outing, so he has to miss qualifying, so he will start P14 unless Welshie gets 13th place. Then Welshie will start P14, but the first driver on track is Lucas Roth, and the cameraman can pick him up, and it's Ukbar in front of him. But look at that, Ukbar looks like he's got damage on my screen. Kieran, not sure about yours. Missing a headlight on mine.
Didn't quite catch that, as I say. Wasn't looking to notice anything, but as I say, they've got 2 headlights on mine.
So just my end then. Yeah, either just mine or yours. He is missing a headlight. Bryn, currently purple through sector 1 at the moment, and is the man with the master plan so far. The man who's improved most penalty points last season to being up there fighting hard this season. As Audio Sport in the chat says, this brings back good memories. Obviously, Kelly took a first and a second here at Zolder when Smithy took his first win. Love you too, Kelly, in the chat. But Bryn then, quickest through sector 1 at the moment. No, that's just been beaten. That has gone the way of Little Leach. In fact, it's gone the way of Max Mulder in Sector 1. For some reason, it's not showing up purple on his name. But Bryn now, quickest in Sector 2. That's just gone the way of Bozzy Boy. So we'll have to keep our eyes out on lap time. So Ukbar from Lucas Roth to set the first lap time here then. Little Leach back to the pits. So Little Leach's good lap has probably been wasted. Ukbar to the line. Sets a 1:38.7. That's a good time. Lucas Roth some 2 seconds back. Where is Bozzy Boy? Let's have a look at where Bryn and Luke and that Bozzy Boy are. Bryn... Bozzy Boy's back in the pits. That's ruined his lap as well. What about Bryn? Where's he to the line? He went 3rd, so a little slower than Keegs. Here comes Stealth Sloth. Slipstream off his teammate Welshie in the distance. In fact, Welshie's got the slipstream off of him. Welshie goes 4th. Stealth Sloth goes 6th. Where's Dean Wasocki, the pace setter of practice, coming into the final chicane now? And is he going to get pole position? The pole is going to end in 43 seconds. So if you haven't got your vote in for pole position, get it in now as Max Mulder goes pole by 2.2 seconds. Here comes Dean Wasocki to the line though, and only goes P3. Can he find any more time? Although the track is just going to get wetter and wetter. And for those who haven't got a lap time in, they're going to need to. JM Grill now to the line. And who's that just behind him in the background? That is Smithy, I do believe. JM Grill goes into P5. And here comes Smithy, your winner at Zolder last time. P5 at the minute, so good qualifying from Smithy early doors. Little Leach then through the chicane. He has got some work to do. Ukbar all on his own. Can he improve on his lap time? He's certainly green sector 1 and green sector 2, but the rain, Kieran, really sort of, well, it looked like it was coming down. Look at it there. It's absolutely tipping it down.
It looks like it's definitely heavier than practice, but as I say, whether it's causing the paddles to form a bit quicker than what we were hoping for in practice. But as I say, it's an interesting one to say the least.
Only the drivers will know. Ukbar does improve by 600ths of a second. It's not enough to get him near Max Mulder then in this at the beginning of this session. Where is Bryn? He was towards the back behind of Ukbar. Here he is to the line. No improvement. Car behind him. Didn't see any improvement from him. Bryn looks like he's going to bail out of that one. Now then, there's Welshie and Stealth Sloth in the background as the cameraman struggling. Stealth Sloth gets a bit of a wiggle on Bozzy Boy. Back in the pit lane. No improvement from Welshie. Dean Wasocki then wasn't too far behind Welshie. Little Leach is on his lap now. Ukbar's in the pits. Lucas Roth's in the pits. Bryn's in the pits. Bozzy Boy's in the pits. Where is Dean? He's coming to the line. There's Holty. We'll stay with Holty. Dean doesn't improve. Holty then to the line. Currently 4th fastest. Needs half a second to get towards Dean. Doesn't get it. Kieran, I think it's getting too wet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if these are outlaps with most of the drivers coming back out.
Yeah, interesting. Bozzy Boy needs to really get out there, doesn't he?
Little Leach needs to set a lap time as well. He's just shot so far as well.
Yeah, where is Little Leach on the track? I think he was coming towards the middle sector, look, through the middle chicane. And the fact he had to go back to the pits, Liam as well, that Bozzy Boy, the track conditions are going to be horrendous. That kind of eliminates the first 2 or 3 rows, maybe.
Especially now, they'll definitely be on the wet tire. I don't think there'll be enough to flick for the moment.
So the poll is closing, and your votes went the way of Little Leach. The man you actually voted less for, Max Mulder, is actually the man on pole by 2.2 seconds. Little Leach coming to that final chicane now, needs to get a lap time in. And his sector 1 was actually pretty good in the 35s, which is what Max Mulder was when he set his pole time. So Little Leach's sector 1 time was good, but how wet's the track as he's gone through the lap? Comes to the line now, jumps to P5. Only 4 tenths quicker than his teammate in JM Grill, though. Max is going to come into the pit lane. I'm not sure who else we've got out on track. That's Holty. Dean Wysoki's had a moment at the first chicane. And that, I reckon, is all she wrote. The question is, Kieran, Bozzy Boy, where's he? Because he needs to get a lap time in as well. Coming final chicane. So is this going to give him a lap time here? I think this is an outlap. So for Liam...
It should give him, if it's an outlap, he's got a bit of damage on the front of that car as well.
Yeah, he has. I just noticed that on the front right... This is an outlap, but he's been in and out of the pit, so normally it does give you a time. Even though it's a bit slow, it will still give him a time. To the line, no time, so he really needs to get one on the board this time around. So Stove in the pits, he is done for qualifying, and Stove Sloth will jump his teammate, but that will mean Shane, provided Walsh only has a 14-place grid penalty, a 2-place grid penalty, a 1-place grid penalty. It is only 1, thank you, Kieran, which means Shane will start then in 14th place. Dean struggling to get to the line at the minute. As here he comes. He had a spin at the beginning of this lap. We'll get one more run at this. But it's too wet. Surely it's too wet. Bozzy Boy now. Lucas Roth just started a lap. Bozzy Boy. There's Bryn. There's DJ Phil then towards the end of his lap. Where is Phil? Down in 10th at the minute. And, oh, that looked a little deep. Yeah, it is, look, just onto the gravel a little bit there. So DJ Phil just struggling as the top 2 are in the pits. As a Little Leach, Smithy, JM Grill, Welshie, Stovsloff and Shane. Here comes Phil to the line. We'll get one more run. No improvement there. Who has gone through Sector 2? It's Holty through Sector 2. Bozzy, oh, big wiggle. I think he kept hold of it, though, because his dot's still going on the track. Right, Holty should get one more lap in. Any improvement here on his time? Was actually quicker in Sector 2 than what he's done. He's had personal best. But I don't think he's going to do anything. Dean's returned to the pit. So Dean is done for qualifying. Holty to the line, no improvement. Bozzy Boy then will actually set a time now. And then it's Bryn behind him. So what will that Bozzy Boy do as he comes to the line now? Any chance of going above Stove Sloth? Every chance of going above Stove Sloth. He goes second. That is a great lap time from Liam.
Wasn't expecting that, especially this late on in qualifying with a track that is wettest.
Absolutely great pace from Liam, just showing that there is improvements to be made. And if you're still out there on a lap, there is that chance of improving. Lucas Roth will be the first man to finish. Then I think it's DJ Phil, the next man who will come to the line. Lucas Roth, no improvement on his P9. But Stovsloff will start 13th then. It will start 12th ahead of Walshy in 13th. DJ Phil then, currently P11, way down on his time. You get the feeling that he's going to be the man who starts P11 in this one. You can't see much improvement there, but that Bozzy Boy, putting it on the front row of the grid, that could be crucial.
With the conditions to put it P2.
Disco, track limits, Liam, turn 1, says Disco. Not too sure. Bloody lost it on my flyer, said Little Leach. Take that, says Dean. Track was too wet after that. Gutted, says Little Leach. But DJ Phil then, here he comes to the line. Any improvement on his P11? No, not for him. The next man, I do believe, was Bryn to cross the line. It might have been Holty. It is Holty then. So Holty saw Liam improve. Can Holty find 4 tenths to go above Dean Wysoki? And if he does, that'll be absolutely fantastic for him to jump above the rest and get onto that second row of the grid. Holty, no improvement there. So the last man to improve then will be Bryn. But it is going to be the man on debut, Max Mulder, who's going to take a pole position from that Bozzy Boy. At the minute, Bryn P10. But is Bryn going to find 4 seconds? That's going to be a big ask in the wet conditions. Ukbar 3rd place at the minute. Bryn to the line. Any improvement on his time? No, he stays P10. So Little Each down in 6th. Kieran, talk us through the grid order if you don't mind while I just input the results.
So, as Matt said, you've got Max Mulder 2004 on pole position. You've got That Bobby Boy, brilliant result in P2. Ukbar P3. Dean Wasocki P4. Holty P5. Little Leach P6. Smithy P7. JM Grill P8. Lucas Roth P9. Bryn in 10th. So it scrolls down. You've got DJ Phil 11th, Welshie 12th, but with that one place grid penalty. Stealthlock in 13th, and Shane not qualifying in 14th.
So that then is your grid as the drivers will get ready up and do their last minute preparations for the race run. Kieran, who's your tip for the win?
I think Max Mulder looked pretty good in the conditions. As I say, we know it's wet at the moment. Depends how quickly it drives to see if the power and faded can come through.
It will be the interesting one to see then. So vote going up at the minute for who you think will win race 1. And we always go off the top 4 qualifiers. So if you do think anybody else other than what's on the poll, please get it in the chat. As we get ready then for this first race of the night. Max in the chat, and that's what we call pole on debut day. Rain tyre is the key, he says. So great to see from him. And it's another Audi driver here that is getting pole positions for the Audi and for another car that the Audi sorry, I'm just trying to sort it out on the channel here. Another Audi that can get another pole position to boost its chances in the overall standings. The Porsche on 36 poles, the Lamborghini on 38, and then you've got the Audi now on 18. The BMW M6 is on 35. The Audi's now just gone above the Ginetta by 1 pole position onto 18 poles. So that's interesting to see, Kieran, that the Audi has a chance now of just making up a few extra spots in them stats.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. The Audi is quite a popular car this season. I'm running it myself in the Pro class. Trying to get my head around it still, not going to lie. But as I say, there's a fair few in Pro I'm running it, so it's going to help its chances.
It really is. So you and D Biggs, and then you've got Bryn, Little Each, Smithy and Max now, and Shane as well, running it. So a win for the Audi today will put it on to 23 if it can win, and it will pull it closer to that McLaren. Peaceful Stepdad, good luck. Love a pole on debut, says Smithy, and Little Each says Little Each for the win because he's not even in the options. But votes coming in. We've had 9 votes and it is pretty spread, but Max is the man there saying he's going to get pole. The lights come on, the revs rise. We've lost a driver on the grid. Who was starting next to Dean Wasocki? I think we've lost one of the green Mercedes. I think we've lost Holty in this race then, as Liam's looking up the inside of Max as they come through turn 1. All through pretty cleanly. That's a spinner. And I think that's Bryn who's lost it and dropped down to P13. But Liam trying to put the pressure on it is. And that's Stealth Sloth. If I know it's Welshie who's also had a mistake through turn 1. We have lost Holty though here in this first race of the night. So what a shame for him. But Max, on his debut, got the start he needed through turn 1 and is checking out. 6/10 already up. Ukbar's had a moment. He's dropped down to P5 as Dean Wasocki and Little Each are up to 3rd and 4th. Oh, Holty in the chat, Kieran, wouldn't let him ready up, so his game must have crashed. That's a shame for Holty.
But I dropped the pad.
So then, all coming through pretty cleanly. We've had a few spinners though, Kieran. Let's get the track map up. Just keep an eye on the dots and the back markers. But we've had a few spinners, it would seem. DJ Phil running 103 litres of fuel. Dean Wasocki was running 3rd and has dropped it. What has he done there? He's dropped right down to P11. And now Smithy's going to find his way through as Dean steadily, gingerly gets his way going. Doesn't want to cause an incident and now can fully get on the power. But Max from Liam, from Little Each, from Lucas Roth, DJ Phil, Stealth Sloth, 6th and 7th. Shane's up to 8th from the back of the grid with Bryn in 9th. Smithy 10th, Dean 11th. Because what's happened to Ukbar? He's dropped down the standings as well. Little Each being attacked by Lucas Roth there. And Ukbar behind Dean and just in front of Welshie. Crazy first lap, Kieran, here. We don't have Kieran there at the minute, so he did say he was losing his voice. We are going to try and get to Kieran as much as possible, but then Uckbar trying to get on the back of Welshie. Look at this, Stovsloff, Shane Bryn, Smithy, all sort of in a bit of a kerfuffle. Dean, Welshie and Uckbar are getting right on the back of these as well. Here comes is that Bryn? Up the inside of Stovsloff, and a real good brave move in the wet that from Bryn, who gets past Stolf like he was standing still, and look at this gaggle of cars all changing places here. Pit stops are a must in these races, says Senna. Yep, they are a pit stop race. Smithy on the back of Stovsloff, and Shane looks like he was attacking Dean in the background, or is Dean attacking Shane? I'm not too sure. The pit window opens. Oh, we did do the pit window. What's a quarter of 22, Kieran?
5.5.
So pit window is lap 6. Dean, a flash of the lights to whoever that was. Clearly unhappy with that, but Dean then will have to get going back at the end of this. So it's lap 5 is the pit window. And these drivers are now underway. We'll have to excuse them if the drivers pit early. That is my fault for not posting it. So here we go then. That Bozzy boy, 2 seconds already off the back of Max. Can he do anything about hunting him down?
I just realised Little Leach has dropped down as well.
No, he has. He's down to 7th. So what has happened there?
DJ Phil doing 1 in 5th at the moment as well. They normally...
Yeah, DJ Phil doing bits at the moment then, as he's going to need to carry his teammate at the moment, with his teammate struggling down the order. It is going to be hard for Uckbar to come through, as he's got Dean trying to get in on the back of him. Lucas Roth is up to 3rd then, and he's trying to catch up to the back of that Bozzy boy and onto the back of Max. Keegs has gone 66, I do believe, races without a race win, and now the 2 MC Motorsport Lamborghinis are side by side with each other. Can them two get anything done? Can them two do anything in terms of attacking? That is Shane in front of them. Bryn's up to 6th, so Bryn flying at the minute in the wet, ahead of Little Leach and Smithy. And Bryn ahead of Little Leach means that is the Audi he is in front of. And that is the Audi he's fighting in the championship.
Oh dear.
Oh, what's happened there? Welshie a little wide.
I thought they'd come to blow them in the middle of the corner.
Who doesn't like a debut winner, says Disco in the chat. Well, exactly that. But the race ain't over yet. Lap 3 of 22. The pit window opens at the end of lap 6. Here comes Welshie and Stovsloff. Welshie up the inside at the chicane, and they're not going to want to tangle here, these two. And through they go. Oh, it's absolutely carnage. And there is Audis everywhere. Both the pick and mix, both the Super Crash Bros, and then Stovsloff's had a spin at the chicane. And who's that? Oh, Little Leach and Welshie in the wall. It was Bryn that's come away the worst of the Audi. Shane's now up into 6th. Bryn's down in 10th. And Little Leach and Welshie both in the wall there. Dean's ahead of Stovsloff. Dean is right in player, catching this whole group of cars. And Kieran, absolute madness in the midfield here.
It looks like someone's lost it in a chicane and just no one's been able to avoid it. It'd be interesting to see who's got damage and who hasn't.
That is a very slow. That is Bryn coming back past Little Leach, and then Uckbar getting past Little Leach. So I think Little Leach is very slow here. I think he's got damage, and depending on his damage, we'll have to pit. Oh, and Uckbar's giving him a bit of a hit on the front. I think Uckbar was losing the rear and gives him a bit of a wallop. As Uckbar gets going, what's happened to Dean? Dean's round. Dean got past Uckbar and went round this. So not sure what happened to Dean Wysocki. But either way, Shane's had a spin as well, I think. He's dropped from 10th. No, in the pits comes Little Leach. Yep, Shane has had a spin at the chicane. Little Leach then in the pits. And we will have to let the drivers... well, he'll have to show that his footage. But I'm sure we'll have to let them off the fact that it was posted a bit late here.
We did see Little Leach in the wall, so you know he's got some form of damage.
Yeah, and then Uckbar hit him as well. Dean then dropped to 12th. He's back up now. Dean dropped to 13th. He's back up to 12th. So it is Max Mulder here who is leading the way on lap 4. Pit window ends at the end. Pit window opens at the end of lap 6. That Bozzy boy in 2nd place. To say he was having a bad practice, Kieran, he's not going too bad at the moment. His lap time's a bit slower than Max, but a lot better than Keegs behind.
He's just out on his own. That's the best thing for him, being out on his own, no pressure, front or behind, just rattle the laps off.
And his teammate JM Grill in P4 at the minute. Again, another drive that's on his own, as he's nowhere near Lucas Roth, but well ahead of DJ Phil. And we know the track then. We know the rain's going to stop, because whatever practice 1 is usually what race 1 is. So we know the rain will stop and that the temperature the track might dry. Here comes DJ Phil, 5th place. He's got 5 seconds. Welshie, he's now up to 6th place. Say he's come from the back and had a few moments. He's up to 6th. So, and trying to gain on DJ Phil, who I think has had a moment. He sounds very slow. That's the Ginetta just going away. Welshie then, very deep at the chicane, at the hairpin, has a bit of a slide. Oh, and Smithy finishes the job. And these wet conditions just catching a few drivers out here, you have to say. As Smithy now overtakes Welshie, and that's another place done for Smithy. And in the background, you've got Bryn, Stealth Sloth, Ukbar, Shane and Dean Wasocki all in a group once again. There is Stealth Sloth, Ukbar on the back of him. There's Shane, there's Dean in the background. That's Bryn at the bottom of your screen then. As they come into the corner, into the final chicane. Dean and Shane very close together, just losing out on the back of these cars here. Disco, should I clip the incidents and send them? No, I think we've got them jotted down. I think Kieran's on that. Kieran's on the note taking at the moment. But you can, if you want, Disco, and send them forward them to Dan. So
I'm sure Dan will be watching anyway, I'm pretty sure.
I'm hoping so. He's at work. I know he is at work, so I hope he gets the chance. Stealth Sloth loses it through turn 2. That's gave Ukbar the chance to make a move. Dean can't seem to find a way past Shane in the background either at the moment, so he is starting to just struggle. Little Each, a big wiggle on the curb for Dean. Little Each, after his pit stop, is only 25 seconds off the back here. But what has happened to that Bozzy boy? Because Keegs is really close to the back of him here.
Slow lap, 2 seconds off the pace last lap, but even Keegs was even slower than that, Luke Frost. A second off.
I wonder if he's made a mistake this lap then, Kieran. I wonder if he's had a problem this time around, and we'll see on the lap times now. You look at Max in the 51s, so Max has had a bad lap. What about Liam and Lucas Roth, 51-2? And yeah, look, you can see there, Max and that Bozzy boy having a bad lap, and Keegs being quicker, some 7 seconds quicker and putting it where he needs to at the moment. Smithy ahead of Welshie still. Bryn still ahead of Stealth Sloth. Ukbar still behind him. Dean has managed to get past Shane, so that is job done. And you can just hear the Mercedes on and off the throttle through this section of track. Oh, hold that, Keegs. Hold that. He does brilliantly there. He does really well to hold that. But that has just let Bozzy Boy just creep away that little bit up the road and just gap Keegs once again. JM Grill is nowhere near this fight. But here's a fight, though. And Bryn is joining this party. He's right on the back of them. Look, Welshie a bit deep there. Bryn's not close enough to dive up the inside. And Smithy then, currently holding station. 13 drivers started this race, which means the top 6 can't qualify. And Welshie then, round he goes at turn 2, spins her back around, revs it up and gets it going. Ukbar's got past Stealth Sloth. They're taking Dean Wasocki with them as well. No, they're not, because Dean's off and he's in the wall. Dan won't be watching, says Kelly in the chat. I didn't think so. Shane's had a spin as well. Dean's going to burn his rear wheels up, spinning him like that. Needs to be steady on them tyres. But the pit window opens at the end of this lap, so the drivers can pit if they want to. And Kieran, the conditions starting to catch drivers out now. We're starting to see mistakes happen.
Yeah, it's to say the puddles are probably forming bigger than what they were at the start of the race, because it's carried on raining. I thought it was going to dry, but obviously it's not. So.
Will it dry towards the end of the race? Is it still raining? Yeah, it is still raining. Look, see the rain falling there. As Max now has a 7-second lead once again over these two. Keegs has got on the back of Bozzy Boy once again. Bryn is now ahead of Smithy as well. So Bryn's up to 6th and he's hunting down DJ Phil, some 8 seconds behind Phil. But will it be a case of do an early pit stop and get out there for Bryn? Nobody came into the pits yet. So who will pit? When will they pit? That is the big question. Lap 6 of 22 here. 24 people watching, 13 likes on the stream. Guys, girls, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new to the channel and hit that bell to be notified. The poll will end at the end of lap 11. So make sure if you haven't voted for who you think is going to win, get your vote in now. And I get a feeling that if Dean or Ukbar was to win this race, they've had some spectacular drivers. Smithy is the first driver in. Now that is an early call for me.
Ukbar in as well.
Ukbar in as well. So if the track does dry, will these two pit again? That is the question. So Smithy and Ukbar in. Kieran Ukbar, 10-second time penalty minimum. Good stop, Smithy, that sounded like. He's away already. And it is a 10-second penalty for Ukbar. Smithy is away, so a good stop from him. Surprised we haven't seen Dean Wysocki come into the pitch. I'd be very surprised if we don't see him in. No, he's not. So nothing from Dean at the moment. And Lidleach, I do believe, has the leader of Max Mulder on the back of him already. It is, yeah, look, in the background, has the leader on the back of him. As Ukbar then gets himself a penalty. Smithy comes out behind Dean Wysocki, apologies. But I think, has Dean...
I'll have the leader.
Oh, yeah, Ukbar does have the leader. Don't forget, though, doesn't have to let the leader go, does he? As Dean hasn't pitted, but makes another mistake at turn 2 and 3. And now needs to maybe make sure he gets into the pit lane, because that car looks like it's got damage. Into turn 3 he goes now, and that car is all over the place. Dean needs to maybe get that into the pits. Bozzy Boy, 9 seconds off the back of Max. Keegs having a bit of a bad lap last time around. That's give Bozzy Boy the chance to just have a bit of breathing space. This man, 7 seconds up the road from DJ Phil. But DJ Phil, I was about to say, has pressure from Bryn behind, but doesn't anymore. Bryn looks like he's made a mistake himself somewhere. Shane is ahead of Stowe Sloth and needs to stay ahead of Stowe Sloth. No points yet for this man, but obviously only started last week. Are we expecting drivers in the pits at the end of this lap? Well, so far no one has yet. And Shane just cautiously through that hairpin. You can just see that Shane is maybe taking it a bit too cautious, Kieran, through some of these corners. I think Keegs has had a mistake because he's dropped well off the back of Liam now. Oh, that's Dean again. Dean again there then. Off and round. As well, she comes in at the end of lap 7, so Dean really needs to get that in the pits.
I don't know what it's like in the Mercedes match. In that first sector, does the Mercedes bottom out as such?
Does seem to struggle. Yeah, it does seem to struggle through sector 1. But Dean, if he's carrying damage, isn't going to help his cause anyway. He's last and last by some margin now, and that is really going to hurt his chances tonight of any good points here. And he's probably going to track him down the standings as Stowe Sloth got past Shane, but has dropped it at turn 2. It is now going to lose out to Shane and to Smithy and to Lidleach. As well as she comes in, I assume Dean Wysocki's going to have to pit here. He's a lap down, nearly a lap down on
no headlights.
Liam as well. Yeah, he should do under the rules and regs. Needs to pit, and he is going to come in. Oh, and that damage, just you saw him under braking there, just pulling him to the left-hand side of the track. Dean then into the pit lane. Who's that? Lucas Roth, once again, has had another mistake.
And that's the worst thing you can do on the wet tyre. Well, spin them up.
Yeah, especially in that Mercedes-Benz, I know, from last week at Kota. Keegs then, really struggling here. He's lost out to Liam. He's good job. He's got a good gap back to JM Grill. But car's just becoming a little spaced out now. Lidleach has got Smithy in front of him. Lidleach matching. In fact, he's quicker than the pace of the leaders. And I think has just got past Smithy. I think Smithy's had a mistake at the second chicane. So where is Stowe Sloth? Smithy's coming round. And Stowe Sloth's now on the back of him with the leader lapping them as well. But the leader not yet pitted. Stowe Sloth couldn't get past Smithy there. And Shane has lost out somewhere as well because he's dropped down to P9. If I know. Yeah, he's dropped down to P10. So he was ahead of Stowe Sloth. He's not no more. Ukbar's gaining on the back of Welsh. And Kieran, these track conditions are just getting even worse at the minute.
Yeah, the people burning through their rear tyres more than likely. With the constant spins. And they're too aggressive to rejoin.
Are we going to see anybody else come into the pit lane then? That is the biggest question. Dean is just exiting the pit. So a good lap down, if not 2 laps down now. Let's just go on Dean Wysocki a second. I think he's on lap... He's just started his 8th lap as the leader's just started lap 10. So Dean is 2 laps down on the leader already. Where's Ukbar on the track? Ukbar's on lap 8. So Dean's nearly 2 laps down to Ukbar. He's got no headlights either, so should come in. Bozzy Boy into the pits at the end of lap 9.
Doesn't appear to have damage, it might just be tactical. Halfway through the race,
Yep.
get rid of the tyres and chuck new ones on, maybe.
Yeah, a change of tyres, or that's definitely not a change of tyres. That stop was too quick for a change of tyres. Here comes Keegs out. So Keegs looks like he's going to take P2. Ukbar's in again. That's his second pit stop, Kieran.
Dean retired.
Dean has left the session, so we'll score no points here. And the worst thing is, that is going to give him a qualifying ban for race 1 next week. They're the rules this season, so Dean will pick up a qualifying ban for race 1 next week, and after the good points he scored last week, he's really just thrown this one away.
Especially the pace he had in practice as well.
Yeah, his pace in practice was very good. Sorry can't do it in the chat, he said. Well, that's what the practice is for in the week. That's why you have the week to practice. 10% of the chat voted for him to win the race, as 10% of the chat voted for Bozzy Boy, 30 Uckbar and 50 for Max Mulder. As that is Welshie off, who's just been lapped by Keegs. As Welshie then, down in P11 himself. And he's struggling in that Lamborghini.
Little Leach starting to make his way through as well. Bad start.
Yeah, he is. Bad start. Pitted early. And then he's up to P7. And everybody in front of him's got to pit. Bryn's got to pit. And
But
Bryn...
it's still raining.
It is still raining, so it is a case of when will it dry out? That is the main thing. When will it dry out, and who will do what if they pit?
Reminds me of last season when you set the race to stop halfway through. It pretty much rained all the way through, and that one of the American tracks.
Yes, remember that one. Well, this is 2/3 of the race is wet. So what's that? What would that be? 1/3 of the race?
Yeah, about 10, something like that.
I wonder if lap 15 maybe.
Five laps.
Yeah, so maybe 5 laps from the end as JM Grill lets his teammate go there. And on his way goes that Bozzy Boy as JM Grill is still yet to pit. So Bozzy Boy back up to P3 and his teammate just struggling a little bit here, and Liam gave him a nice flash of the lights as he drove past. But Max, Lucas Roth, JM Grill, Stealth Sloth, DJ Phil, Shane, Bryn, all still to pit at this moment in this race. Little Leach, if he pits again, we'll kind of null and void that, but I think we'll let him off as I forgot to post it. So that is my bad. There is a car off at turn 2. That looks to be... So who's behind Shane? That is Welshie. So what is the car behind Welshie? It's a lead car. Is it Max? No. So DJ Phil? No, so there was a lead car off. It was Bozzy Boy? Keegs maybe. It might have been Keegs actually, because Liam's on the back of Keegs. And Keegs is yet to pit. So maybe Keegs has dropped it at turn 2. Yeah, possibly so, because Welshie's back ahead of him, look. So that Bozzy Boy may be back to P2 without having... sooner, it might have a bigger gap as well. This brings JM Grill into the podium fight now. So for JM Grill, some 8 seconds off the back of Lucas Roth, but could really do with pitting maybe to get the jump on him. Little Leach has just got past Bryn. So 13 started, top 7 cannot qualify, sorry. So Bryn couldn't qualify for this one. And here comes Smithy then. 8th place in this race. Obviously he won here last time around. But down in 8th, you don't think that's going to happen today. He is 1 minute 33 off the back of the leader. Oh, and has had a mistake out the first chicane.
Getting back in that Acura, he says.
Getting back in that Acura, it would be brilliant to see. Evening to Fury's mum. Hope you're well, Laura. As Bryn laps Uckbar then. Uckbar, the Dutch domination, me and Dan called it last week. To the Dutch doom and gloom maybe this week, because it's not going the way he wanted at all. Lucas Roth, P2. Still to pit here, lap 12 of 22. Who's that off? That sounded like an Audi. It was Shane. So Shane at the minute, going good guns to get to the end of this race. He's at half distance. Now don't forget, there is no 3/4 distance. If you retire even on the last lap, it's no points. So you've just got to get to the end. It doesn't matter how many laps down you are, you've just got to get to the end. And Shane could probably do with getting that one in the pits. He stops to let JM Grill go. Very kind of Shane. He didn't have to do that, but does to keep out the leader's way. He is currently 11th, but has Uckbar chasing him down at the moment. Max, though, out front, leading 46 seconds. Not yet pitted, though. The question for Max, Kieran, does he change tyre? Lucas Roth has just dropped to 3rd, so Bozzy's got past him and has cleared him by some 3 seconds here.
Keith had a moment.
I think he must have, yes. I wonder if he's going to come in. Either way, 48 seconds. Does Max change tyre? I mean, he's got nothing to lose, really. I think even a pit stop with a change of tyre will get him out in front. What's he waiting for, though?
Even if he comes in with a change, if he changes tyre, he's going to have a tyre advantage over the likes of Liam, who we know didn't change tyres.
Yeah, he is. Max out into that lead and has such a gap. Got a bit of clear track in front of him. A bit of traffic up the road, but a bit too far up the road where it's not going to hurt him too badly. But at the minute for Max, it's a dream debut, Kieran, isn't it, this?
Yeah, you couldn't have hoped for any more pole position. Nearly will be the full set so far.
Absolutely flying. JM Grill then into the pits at the end of lap 12. So that is him who's done his pit stop. And there we see into the pit lane. DJ Phil then should get past him now. Is this the undercut opportunity on Lucas Roth, with Lucas Roth making a couple of mistakes here? Look at Max, he's lapping.
DJ Phil, no.
Yeah, he's not pitting. That's Max behind him who's about to lap him once again.
Looked like DJ Phil had damage there, way of wiggling down the straight.
Max is in the pits then, so this is Liam's opportunity. So let's see if the camera pans to Max. Liam's only at the first chicane. So lap 13 for Max when he pits. JM Grill's out the pits. He only lost out to DJ Phil. Now Max is coming in. There is his crew. A long way down the pit lane for Max to pit then. Liam, you see the white dot on your map? That is, excuse me, that is that Bozzy Boy. And Max isn't yet away as Liam's at the hairpin. Max still not away.
Got to be a change of tyre.
Has to be something, yeah, a change of tyre, repair damage, something like that. The question is if he does change tyre, he's away now. Right, so he has changed tyre, he's away now. Liam into that final chicane. Max off the pit limiter, going through a wider turn 1 pit exit. So he's going to get the jump on that Bozzy Boy. That is job done if you're Max. Keegs comes into the pits. I think you see his dot coming in, yes. So that is Keegs in on lap 13. When I can find his name, there he is. Keegs into the pits. Right then, JM Grill. The white dot slow on the start straight is Keegs. Can JM Grill get past Lucas Roth and get the jump on him? DJ Phil still yet to pit. Still Sloth yet to pit. Bryn and Shane yet to pit. Do correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I'm sure Bryn hasn't pitted yet. I'm pretty positive on that one. Lucas Roth in. JM Grill. In fact, Lucas Roth is on his way out. He's off the limiter now. And he's away. So I reckon that Lucas Roth has got that one done. Job done, Lucas Roth. Liam's 13 seconds behind Max now. Oh, wiggle!
Cross the pit line as well.
Oh, yeah, across the pit line with a wiggle. DJ Phil's in, and DJ Phil's got a time penalty. So both the Ginettas getting time penalties in the pit lane then. That could really hurt him in terms of Smithy and Bryn getting past. Little Leach is through. Where is Smithy and Bryn? It is only 10 seconds for Phil. Smithy, Bryn and Stealth Sloth are all coming to the final chicane now. You see the white dots on the track map. As there's Little Leach going through turn 1. Smithy will get the job done on DJ Phil, who's yet to get away. I think Bryn is coming to the pit lane. Yep, Bryn is in. No time penalty for him. There is Stealth Sloth, so Stealth Sloth will get past the pair of them. He is yet to pit, though, with Stealth Sloth. The other man yet to pit is Shane. So where's Bryn and DJ Phil? I think DJ Phil's heading out the pits now. No, he's not. Wow, DJ Phil's still in there. Let's have a look who's going to win this pit stop battle. Phil with his penalty will not be happy with this as Bozzy Boy comes through to lap him. And Bryn is they're both being held a very long time. DJ Phil especially a long time. They were expecting the rain to maybe stop within the next couple of laps, Kieran. So are we expecting these drivers to maybe be thinking of a change of tyre to be better at the end? Bryn had a better stop than DJ Phil, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be worth changing onto the slick tyre. I don't think it's going to dry that quickly. But the people who have the fresher tyre certainly have the advantage coming towards the end.
Indeed, they should. I think... No, it's still raining. Can't see the spots coming onto the screen there. as Max leads 18 seconds ahead of that Bozzy boy, who does have Ukbar behind him as traffic. Bryn closer to DJ Phil. Welchie got past the pair of them as well, but it's just Stealth Sloth and Shane now to pit. There is Lucas Roth, who once again has a little wiggle coming through turn 2. Here comes JM Grill then, 6 seconds behind, but that gap's going to slowly come down. Little Each is bringing the gap down to the pair of them as well. He's only 4 seconds off the back of JM Grill, so don't count him out for maybe a podium here. And as I say that, round he goes. And where's Smithy? 27 seconds is Smithy. Little Each has no worry from behind at the minute. Shane into the pits at the end of lap 13. Or lap 13 for himself. Yeah, out the way of the leader. So that'll do the leader the world of good. No time penalty, so he's been practicing that one. Max then leads 21 seconds out of that Bozzy boy. He's flying at the minute, lapping in the 47s.
Not really much to bring you in terms of track action. They're all rather spread out.
Yeah, it is. It's all kind of fanned out a little bit. With the rain clearing up. I think it stopped raining actually, Kieran. I do believe the rain... I think it's definitely slowing. It is definitely slowed up. Lap 16 we're on, the leader is, of 22. And the rain is definitely seems to be stopping here, look. In fact, I think it has now. Just the odd spits and spots every now and again. Stealth Sloth in for his stop then. So that is everybody pitted. And job done. And Shane's on his way. So Shane has now dropped down to P12, but will still score points. Stealth Sloth's on his way. He's only lost out to Smithy and Welchie. Where is DJ Phil and Bryn? They're coming down the start straight. So there's Phil. Bryn then just behind. Phil gets past Stealth Sloth. You hear the Lamborghini rev up and get through. There's Bryn in the background. And Bryn, only 2 seconds behind Phil, means that he is right within that 10-second window. Stealth Sloth comes out ahead of behind Keegs, but a lap down. More importantly, another one across the line who's pretty much stopped there. I wonder if he's losing the back end. I think Bryn's had a moment because Bryn looks slow in front and Keegs has just got past him there. So I think Bryn has definitely had a moment through turn 1 because he's now 3 seconds off the back of Phil. But the rain has definitely stopped, Kieran, so the track will start drying the more these drivers go around it now.
Yeah, the track's going to get quicker and evolve as the laps go by, but I personally don't think it's going to get dry enough or dry quickly enough.
Would you, at the minute, Phil down to Ukbar can qualify for race 2, would you go for the extra point and risk the slick tyre?
Maybe in 1 or 2 laps time, depending on the position in front and behind.
You're Ukbar, you're 14 seconds behind Shane, you've got a 10-second penalty, time's running out.
Yeah,
Do you go for that?
Definitely. Yeah, no reason not to.
He's not really going to gain Shane. He's got to hope that Shane makes some mistakes. The gap to Shane and Ukbar is increasing every lap. Let's just go on the roof camera of Bryn. I know it's only just stopped raining this lap, but there is already dry spots on the track. Bar here, look at this part. Bryn's probably not the best example with these yellow headlights, but there is definitely a drier line starting to form here.
Hard to tell in the wet conditions compared to the dry, especially here, but with no lighting around the circuit.
Well, let's keep our eyes on the lap time. So Max has just done a 46.1. Where's he on track? He's coming into the last part of the track now. So let's keep an eye. Let's look at the end of this lap, see if he's up any. He goes a little wide there. He's 30 seconds out of that Bozzy boy, who's only 27 ahead of Lucas Roth. JM Grill's within 8 seconds of Lucas Roth as well here at the minute. Definitely, though, a dry line starting to form. Who's that going in the pits? That looked like Ukbar. So is Ukbar taking our advice and maybe going, do you know what? Oh, he's got no lights.
That might be why.
I wonder if he's going to take our advice and maybe just go for the slicks while he's coming into the pit lane then. So he's definitely going to get 12th. Top 7 cannot qualify. Yeah, exactly. Take the risk. Max in the 46ers. Where's Liam? On track. Coming through the hairpin. So let's see what lap time Liam looks like he's going to do here. He's 30 seconds ahead of Lucas Roth. This might be where Liam can gain on Max a little bit, having that pace of the Mercedes. 17, lap 18 or 22 these are on. I'll tell you what, if these wet tyres, Kieran, start to burn up, This could be anybody's game. Yeah, he's definitely changing tail. Oh, look at this. Lucas Roth. That is, I think, Bryn, who's on the back of DJ Phil. He's gone round in the puddle. Phil's being lapped by Keegs. So Keegs got to be careful here. Bryn's now in front of his teammate Shane, but that isn't for position. Bryn's a lap ahead. But then you got Stovsloff in the background trying to get 9th as well. Bryn, 3 seconds behind DJ Phil, so still within that 10-second window. He is Welshie. Liam in the 48s. Are we going to see more times in the 40s? That's the question. Lucas Roth has got past DJ Phil Green. Oh, DJ Phil looks like he's going to send one on Lucas Roth there. From a lap down, I thought Lucas Roth was going to go up the inside. You've had your run-ins with DJ Phil, sorry. Not Lucas Roth as a back marker. Little naughty there from Phil to have a look up the inside.
Yeah, especially with pace advantage, we know that DJ Phil doesn't have over Keegs. If it was more equal pace, I'd say, you're allowed to go up the inside fairly. But not if you've not got the pace.
Turn 2, absolutely treacherous. You see Keegs here just wobbling across the track every time he goes through. JM Grill got to the line, he did a 2:07. Here's Bozzy Boy. Now, Max has just crossed the line and done a 1:51.8, and that Bozzy Boy's not going to do a great lap time neither, because look at that, you couldn't have parked that one any better, Liam. A 360 round onto the front, and away you go. Little each though, this man, can he catch JM Grill? He's only got 3 seconds to his teammates, so he must have had a problem somewhere. But he gets the line, 1:58. So the lap time's not really dropping too much yet.
JM Grill, 2:07 lap time.
Yeah, Smithy into the 49s. So Smithy and that Bozzy Boy last time around, the only two in the 1:40s. So the track, yes, it's drying, but not drying quick enough in the right places. Here, for example, absolute mayhem for the drivers, on and off the throttle so much. And that is not what you'll want to see. Let's stay on Smithy though a second, because he's coming up towards the Sector 1's timing beam. So let's see if he's up any on his time. There is very little spray, though. I can say that. Very little spray. Bryn's got past DJ Phil. So that is job done. He's ahead of him. So is Stovsloff nearly. Oh, he will be on the 10-second time penalty. Smithy 1.5 seconds down. That's through Sector 1. Let's stay with Smithy for Sector 2. Now he's through the worst of the puddles. Let's see what Smithy does at Sector 2. Sector 2 just after the chicane. So provided he gets... Oh, well, we're not going to see a better lap time from Smithy, as he's gone round at the second chicane then. Right, battle out there on track. Stovsloff and DJ Phil close together. They're not anymore. Stovsloff's got past. Ukbar back in the pits. Bryn down on his lap time by 11 seconds. But he's trying to now catch up to the back of Welshie. Welshie is the borderline mark for who cannot qualify in the next race. Smithy in the 1:49s. Max in the 1:47s. That's Lucas Roth, who's had a spin in the background. So where is JM Grill? He's got to wait. He's got to patiently wait. Manages to get it out of the way. Stays out of the way of Bryn and Shane. And there is Max. So the leader laps Lucas Roth. So the only person the leader hasn't lapped is second place. And Phil's back ahead of Stovsloff now, who's made a mistake. All happening at this first part. It's this first bit here, Kieran, which is, look at them all. They're all tiptoeing around these first couple of corners. Yeah, Shane's gone with him. So them two seem to have had a bit of a moment.
Touched the curb on the outside, it looked like.
Yeah, possibly so. And there is a car in the background coming, and coming fast. It's not Bozzy Boy, though, because he's about to complete a lap. Now, any improvement on his lap time here to see if the lap time is going to come down? Because don't forget, the fastest lap awarded will be awarded at the end of this race. And if the track's in its best condition at the end, it's up for grabs here. Ukbar in the pits could do with getting out the pit sooner rather than later. But Max, at the minute, a 1:47.1 could be the man setting the pace. Liam 9/10 slower that lap. So the fastest lap could go Max's way. DJ Phil's now had a spin. And Stovsloff was 7 seconds behind. He's now going to be closer. Bryn's gaining on the back of Welshie. That gap's down to 7 seconds from 10. So Bryn just gaining on that last non-qualifying spot. And he's trying to get on the back of this man. The gap's now down to 5 seconds on the timing screen. Mardomo, hi in the chat. Good evening to you. Welshie 9 seconds off his best lap. That's a 58.1 from him. We're expecting the lap times to drop, though. Little each. He's 10 seconds off the back of JM Grill at the hairpin. That is Shane in front of him, who's trying to hunt down Stovsloff. Not for position. Stove within 3 seconds of DJ Phil. That's probably the closest fight on track, although Bryn is within 3 or 4 seconds of Welshie. That's also another close battle. Bryn looking to keep hold of second place in the championship. Oh, he might not be now, as he's had a mistake. Look at Max's lap time last lap. We're into the early 40s now, the low 40s. A 44.9 for Max then. Oh, little wiggle, holds it all together. And Max a 44.9, absolutely brilliant. Dean saying turn 2 is horrible. Well, Max then, clearly the fastest man out there on the track. That's Little Each who's had a moment. Shane's had a moment as well. And Shane pulling right off the circuit to make sure he gets it spun around and has just done too much. And waits patiently as Smithy nearly loses it through turn 2. So turn 2, everybody tiptoeing. You what, sorry?
We've lost Ukbar.
So Ukbar has retired. So that will be no points for him. So after his dominating performance last week, that'll be no points for him. And that will also mean that Ukbar at race 1 at Spa next week, so him and Dean at Spa, will both have a qualifying ban. And don't forget, 3 retirements mean that you'll lose 25 points here, and I don't think anybody's close to that yet. But Ukbar and Dean have put themselves one closer in this one. Liam then a 46.1, so his lap times are coming down. Welsh is in the 49s now as well, so the lap times definitely getting quicker. Max again in the 44s. He, though, is on the last lap of that race. I do believe that's him in the background there to Welshie. So this man, what a dominating performance on his debut here. Absolutely flying. Lucas Roth has only got 7 seconds to JM Grill. So JM Grill could nick a late podium. That Bozzy Boy, 55 seconds off of his rival. And Lucas Roth has 6 seconds to JM Grill. Does not need to mess up what is his last lap of the race, being a lap down. Where is the leader? I believe he's at the hairpin. So let's jump on board with Max. Oh, he's not at the hairpin. He's at the second chicane nearly with Welshie. That's Bozzy Boy at the hairpin, so that'll be why that is that. So we'll have a long time to wait for Bozzy Boy to finish. He'll be the last person to finish then in this race. Second place will be the last car to finish this race. Can you believe that one? It was JM Grill. 5 seconds off the back of Lucas Roth. We'll be able to see Lucas Roth. We want to get past Lucas Roth. Stove Sloth, 10th place. Will be promoted tonight because of DJ Phil not being able, having that 10-second time penalty. Bryn's lost out to Welsh, who's in the 1 minute 40s. At the moment, Liam did a 2:01. Little each say. Don't forget, track limits is 2 wheels on the curb. That curb is a big fat curb on top of the bounce. So provided he has 2 wheels, then he's all right with that. He can get away with it. That is still Sloth has a bit of a wiggle. Right, let's go back to Max then. He's at the final chicane. And he's going to come through what has been a dominating debut performance here. It's going to be a first win and 25 absolutely beautiful points, as well as the point for pole. Max is your race winner. I think Welshie got him at the end to do the lap. Liam is well ahead of Keegs, but Keegs will be finished. There is Lucas Roth. Look, so Lucas Roth will be on the podium for P3. So he's done. JM Grill will then get a P4. Great to see Keegs back racing as well. So JM Grill will get 4th place. That behind is the battle for 9th and 10th. DJ Phil will lose that 10th spot. JM Grill crosses the line. DJ Phil will cross the line 9th, but Stove Sloth will take it on DJ Phil's time penalty. So Stove Sloth will come across for 9th. DJ Phil will get 10th. The next person to finish then is Little Each. He's 5th. Smithy has 6th place. I don't know where Smithy is. He's coming to the line now. That behind is Shane. He's going to score his first points of the season in P11. I then do believe that it is that Bozzy Boy who is going to take a P2 and a podium, and a well-earned podium. He's had a bit of bad luck and a bit of his own doings here, and Welshie will be the last car to finish down in P7. The top 7 cannot qualify, let's not forget, for race 2. As we are just awaiting Welshie to finish this race here. That's how we do it. So Max, you cannot qualify for race 2 in the chat. It is a reverse grid race. And Kieran, that race provided us not much in the ways of entertainment of racing each other, but a lot of incidents and a lot of drivers having problems.
It'd be curious to see if any of the drivers feel that they've been aggrieved, and send something into the stewards to look at. But I think it was mostly due to the conditions.
Yeah, agreed. The fastest lap of the race is a 41.4 from Max. Liam not too far off that one as well at the end. So Max then takes the race win and the fastest lap as well as pole position. We, though, will be right back in just a moment with the rest of the action for race 2. Make sure you don't go anywhere. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or a beer if you feel like it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
I'm trying to save the replay. I have the replay.
Sweet. Well, Dean and Uckbart, well done. Didn't get to the end. Min.
Before I upload that link, I'm going to clear my other replay so I can save race 2 for you as well.
Yeah. No worries, buddy.
I've got 4 saved, didn't realise that.
We may have to look at putting out Max in Pro. I know it was wet and people making their own mistakes, but...
Is there a spot then? I know you said...
Well, Disco's, isn't it?
I thought someone had Disco spot.
No. Yeah, that was meant to be this guy, but then he said he couldn't do Thursdays, but his pace that he told me about was like Little Each Holty Keegs pace, but like yours and Kelly's pace at the same time. So it was like a borderline bit. So when he said he couldn't do Thursdays, I thought, oh, well, I'll put him in on a Wednesday. He's not that quick. So he sent me a link to his, like, he must have like recorded it and sent me a link on Discord to watch it. So I could see his lap times. So I think it's going to be a case of if he starts to dominate light in this race as well, even though it's half dry, half wet, we might just have to say to him, look, it's Thursday night because you're too quick for these other guys. But Little Each had others like Holty wasn't there, Keegs had a shocker, Little Each had a shocker, so we'll wait and see.
It's a hard one because, like you say, you want people to come up through Pro-Am.
Well, Dean can be pleased with himself. He's started the night 7th and has already lost 1 place. And he's down to 8th. And has got Smithy crawling on the back of him. Well done, Dean. Why do Peter Dean? Oh, sorry, I couldn't do it. Oh, get a grip. Just get Liam, Keegs, and the other guy in. Well, I just popped to the toilet, if you will, please.
Yeah.
Hello?
Right, we'll do it. I'm just having a drink with the throat's going.
I'm having a look at something quickly. That was horrible, by the way.
You didn't do too bad though.
I didn't do too bad now, but especially where up puddles are, because I mean, they're in the most tedious places ever. I mean, there's one which just spans straight across the track just before you go on that uphill part, after the chicane.
Mm.
It's fucking dreadful there. Especially then turn 2 as well, that's just, no mate.
What do you mean that's just no, mate? You were flying through it like it was fucking nothing.
Fucking struggling.
I was sideways. You were at about 100 mile an hour. I was about 60.
Alright, Fishy's in the chat.
What?
Fishy's in the chat.
Nah. That was fucking horrible.
Yeah, there we go. That's where he does that.
Right, Dean. I don't know if that's the biggest load of shit or what.
What he said.
Why did he stop racing, Liam?
Honest or what he told me to tell you?
Honest.
Honest, because he was getting fed up.
Right.
Saying something about fucking about Walsh be flipping at him or some shit.
He's just texted me saying Chase got his post up, could not carry on.
Yeah, that's what he told me to tell you.
Right, but yet he said in the chat, sorry, can't do it.
Yep. He said something about he was going to turn around and take Walshy off because he took him off or some bollocks like that.
Why is DJ Phil sending me footage?
What did you feed Welshie and Dean together?
Yeah, what he flashed him early on.
Well, I know Dean said turn around and said he was going to do something like that, take him off and then leave.
Mate, I was having fucking back markers absolutely sending it on me for some reason. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I saw an Audi fly up, fucking flying past me into the last corner.
I was going to say, this new guy's fucking quick.
He's a bag of shit. Sweaty bastard, he therefore only plays Project Cars and that's about it.
Well,
It's hard to say because everyone else had a shocker.
his pace when I told him to send me a video of him doing his pace was no better than Keegs, Little Leach, Halty, yourself, Liam. But well, round I think it was Imola at the time. But was no quicker than Argent, Kelly, Monkey Boy. He said he couldn't do a Thursday night, so I said, all right, well then you're going to be at the front of Pro-Am, running with at least 4 or 5 drivers. Hard to say on tonight's conditions, isn't it? People make too many mistakes and they can get a gap, can't they?
Right, I've got pace in the driver here.
Well, this is going to be a bit of a boring season now. He's going to win now.
Well,
Oh, I mean, he's like
this race is half dry, half wet.
Is it?
Yeah. So the first half's dry. So if he dominates his first half, then I'm just going to have to say to him, mate, look, you're too quick for this league. You're going to have to go in pro on a Thursday night. If you can't make it, sorry.
Can I have the 2 wins?
No.
No, the results will stay the same. Nobody will. The wins won't change.
Oh.
Well, actually, I could pop if we do decide he's going in pro. I could maybe put his points no, because we didn't do that for Disco the other year when Disco did one race in pro. Right, who are we waiting for? 2 drivers missing. That'll be Leon Fernie and is the other guy in here?
I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, he is.
I'm not feeling enjoying.
I understand now. He's gone fucking flying like that around. I was struggling.
Holte forgot to ready up, didn't he? What
He says it. Yeah, he texted me saying he couldn't ready up.
Oh, right, fam.
Texted me saying it wasn't letting him.
Oh, I can't even qualify. That's fucking
No,
dry.
yeah, that's...
Fuck!
Just realised that, I know.
Fucking should have come like 12.
Just got back in. Come on, Teletubby Motorsport. Shut up, Maz.
No, I'm roasted.
Dean, why does he have to bullshit all the time? Why can't he just say, I couldn't be hard?
What I'm going to turn around and tell him is that you just figured it out on your own.
Yeah, just...
He told me. I'll just say he figured it out on his own.
Welcome back then to Simplay Motorsport here for round 10. We are nearly at the midway point in the season, and that means that these drivers have a lot of work to do. We haven't got the race winner in, we've only got second and third. But Little Each leads the way, 33 points clear of Bryn, who does pull a few more points over Ukbar in that race. Not many, but Ukbar retiring means that Bryn scores a few more. Let me just double check that because... No, yeah, that is bang on. Right, so Ukbar is P3. Then 39 off the back of Little Each. Jem Grill, 4th, 57 off the back of Little Each with Lucas Roth back up to 5th place on 91. Welshie 2 points behind him on 96. Holty down to 7th. Dean drops to 8th, 10 points behind Holty. Only 5 points clear of Smithy. DJ Phil is in 10th place. Stealth Sloth is in 11th with that Bozzy Boy tied on P12 with Max already. And Shane gets his first points of the season. In terms of the constructor standings, Pick a Mix Motorsport lead the way, 44 clear of Terminal Velocity Racing. Teletubby Racing, 46 behind with MC Motorsport in 4th. Super Crash Bros only 2 ahead of My Mate Racing, and getting quicker My Mate bringing up the rear as R Sports Racing haven't participated yet this season. Top 7 cannot qualify, which means... Hang on, just got to answer Welshie in the chat. Top 7 cannot qualify, which means that Bozzy Boy, Max, Lucas Roth, JM Grill, Little Each, Welshie, and... Who comes 6th? I can't remember who came 6th. And Smithy cannot qualify in this race. So Dean Wasocki, Stealth Sloth, DJ Phil, Bryn, Shane, Ukbar, all can qualify in this race. Just looking to make sure everybody's in the pit. So Little Each, JM Grill, Welshie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so Shane can come out to qualify on a drying track. Right, let's go to the interviews then. Lucas Roth, P3. But really, Keegs, it was about survival out there, not about the race win, maybe.
Yeah, just trying to keep it on the track the whole time. Couple of wee mistakes, couple of big ones. Not the biggest fan around here in the wet, but you know, who knows. It's
nice to see you back. Obviously, nice to see you're fighting fit, old fishy. What is the plan for race 2? Obviously, a drying track at the start. That's got to favour your Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, hopefully just make as many places up in the dry. And then we'll just, when the wet hits, we'll see what we can do. Probably not the best, but we'll try our best.
Your teammate not being able to hit the ready up button kind of put a dampener to get his second place in that constructor's points. But nonetheless, good points for yourself again and climbing back up that championship after watching that dismal football game last week.
Best. No, yeah, I don't know what happened with the game last time for Holty there. Just ready up, I'm not sure. But yeah, hopefully we can get some good points for the team here.
Well, your Teletubby teammate Mazda in the chat is saying that Teletubby Motorsport race win for the second race. Is that possible for you or Holty?
If it doesn't rain as bad, maybe. I'm not promising nothing, but yeah, maybe.
Well, according to your dad, you was flopping in the puddles, old fishy. So we'll let you get back to it, and best luck for race 2.
Cheers.
We've got that Bozzy Boy as well, and Liam, we should have been speaking to you at Sakito round 1 and 2 for maybe 2 race wins. Instead, we're here at rounds 9 and 10 talking to you about a second place. But nonetheless, it's finally good to get points on the board, I suppose.
Yeah, it's. I'm happy enough to be on the podium. Even if I came 3rd, I'd have been happy enough because I was on only 7 points. I'm on. I don't know how many now, but it's going to be fun.
How bad was it out there? Keegs obviously saying that he was struggling in the Mercedes. You're obviously in the Mercedes yourself. How bad was it?
I mean, I know I put in the chat previously, it's not the rain, it's the puddles, and it's the puddles, especially around turn 2, going up the uphill part after the chicane. Puddles are just absolutely terrible around there.
You didn't have the pace to keep with the race leader, but a second place, you only had 7 points on the board after what happened at Sakito. Is that good to sort of get a good solid points base on the board now and build from here?
Yeah, I think it's just the little building blocks of it, and hopefully I can build my way up.
Race 2 looks to start dry. What's your plans?
Just get on the track, drive the car, and hope for the best.
Well, we'll let you get back to it, buddy. Best of luck for race 2.
Thank you.
So a very happy Buzzy Boy and a very happy Lucas Roth. Kieran, race 1, a lot of survival. The start of this race, though, looks like it is going to be a dry one, and does look like it's Ukbar who's going to be setting the absolute beast of lap times at the minute.
I think turn 1 could be interesting because no one's really had any dry running in terms of knowing where to brake.
DJ Phil, not yet set a lap time, needs to really get out there and get a lap time in. Dean and Shane as well haven't set a lap time. Here comes Dean. Holty, Stowsloff and Bryn out there as well. They've put lap times in. Dean to the line. Any pace from Dean in this one he'll need. He'll want to start on the front row. No points for Dean in Ukbar race 1. What have they got to do, Kieran, in this second race to rebuild them points?
That's what I say. They've got to see the finish, regardless where they are position-wise. They've just got to get to the end.
So I'm waiting for lap times to come in. We have only got half the session remaining here. As we look to the chat, the puddles in turn 2 were a killer. And how long is the race? It's 22 laps again, Max, the same as race 1. So even Max saying the puddles are a killer then. And it's nice to hear from Keegs. Nice to see Keegs get a podium after last lap. It's after last night. It's nice to see him on the podium and fighting fit and going good guns at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, I didn't know too much about it myself personally, but as I say, if he was, like we say, in hospital yesterday, it's a strong 24 hours for him to get back into the car.
Yeah, good to see him back. Yeah, mandatory pit stop, Max. The pit window is lap 6.
TJ Field looks like he's back on the pad tonight rather than on the wheel.
Oh, yeah, he's a little all over the place, isn't he? As he comes into the chicane. Still no lap times from Dean at the minute. Shane's gone P3, though, quicker than Stowsloff and quicker than his teammate in the dry. So that's interesting to see. As DJ Phil gets to the line, he starts his lap. Where is Dean then? Dean and Phil, the only two. Right, so here's Dean. He's about to set a lap time. He's had a slipstream off of Holty, it looks like. So that could benefit him. As here comes Dean Wysocki. And to the line he's going to be now. And can he improve? Goes P2, 8 tenths off the back of Ukbar. So good pace from Dean. Running 60 litres of fuel though, Kieran. That seems a bit un-Dean Wysocki-like for qualifying.
Maybe it's helping him with the stability of the car. Say, with having such a bad session or bad race last time round, it's one of them things to get confidence back up.
Yeah, possibly so then. As Max will start towards the back of the pack here. He will start in P11 after DJ Phil sets his lap time. With Walshy 12th, Little Each 14th and JM Grohl 13th, which puts Lucas Roth in 10th just ahead of him. And that Bozzy Boy ahead of Smithy as well. So Smithy will be 9th. That Bozzy Boy will be 8th. Giving that Bozzy Boy the best chance possible of getting ahead of Max in this race and pulling away for the second race. So who get you? But the votes coming out in the poll for who you think will win race 2. And there's going to be a couple of different options on here. Ukbar and Holty are 2 of the options. If you have a different option, please let us know. We'll put Max on there after his dominance in race 1. And we'll also, I'm going to say Dean Wysocki based off of his qualifying pace at the minute. If he gets a good start, he could go. Holty then, to the line. Stowsloff's gone 7th. Ukbar has just gone into the 32.3. So that, absolutely fantastic lap time. Holty won't improve. And that will be Holty done. Shane is also done. So Stowsloff needs to find a couple of seconds. Dean to the line. No improvement. Gets one more bite of the cherry. Right. Who is the first car on track? It is Bryn. Is Bryn far enough through this lap to sneak one last lap in, really attacking the chicane? Here he comes then. 5th place, needs 2 tenths to get ahead of DJ Phil. And for Bryn, still second in that championship, so still holding his own in that top 3 promotion spot as we're coming into that halfway mark in the season, Kieran. He's doing exactly what he needs to do at the minute.
End of the day, points being prizes, so you've got to score it consistently throughout the season to make sure you're at the top.
Hang on a second. That might be why. Where did Bryn finish in that race? Finished 8th. I didn't actually input Bryn's points in that one, I've just noticed. I wondered why. Well, So Bryn is 25 points behind Little Leach. I do apologise. And he's now 14 clear of Uckbar. I didn't input Bryn's result from race 1. So I do apologise for that, Bryn. Here comes Bryn, 4 tenths quicker, up to P4, and did sneak a lap in. Right, who's at the back end of the track? Is it Stealth Sloth? It's not Dean Wisocki. It is Stealth Sloth, and then it's DJ Phil. Stealth Sloth, any improvement? Does improve, but will stay P7. So Shane will out-qualify Stealth Sloth. DJ Phil... he doesn't improve. So P5 for DJ Phil. Bryn back to the pits, as was Dean. So Dean will start 2nd place. Bryn will start in 4th. DJ Phil will start in 5th. Uckbar, your pole sitter though. And Holty in 3rd place. So it's Uckbar from Dean with Holty 3rd, Bryn 4th, DJ Phil 5th, Shane in 6th, Stealth Sloth in 7th place. Then the first of the non-qualifiers. That Bozzy Boy from Smithy, Lucas Roth from Max Mulder, Welchie, JM Grill, and bringing up the rear, Little Leach. Kieran, your tip, your vote for who you think will win this 2nd race.
I think it's going to depend on when the weather comes. We know it's coming, but when, who knows? Hard to look past Max for race 2, but as I say, can he get through the grid, or is he going to struggle?
That will be the question. We've seen in the past, Kieran, haven't we, where drivers have come in new to the league and have struggled on the reverse grid race. This is going to be about how he does it, how he can manage this, and how he can get to the end. The votes in the chat, Max and Holty have got the votes. Uckbar and Dean, no votes for them at the minute. If you do like what you see here, please hit that subscribe button. Let's get the speedo and the track map on as well, so we can just see the... there we go, so we'll be able to see the lights. Do hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, hit the bell to be notified. The pros will be live. Dan Davis and Jamie Brazy will be in the commentary box tomorrow night to see 13 other cars, and me and Kieran try and take on this. Let's go Teletubby Motorsport, says Mazda in the chat. I hope he's back tomorrow, because it'll be great to see Mazda back, obviously having the big house move and expecting his 2nd little one anytime this month as well. So congratulations to Mazda and his partner Abby. And I got the proud news of being asked to be godfather in September for his little one, so cannot wait for that one. I think it's a girl as well, but I think we should still give it the middle name Matt Neal, Mazda. What do you think? Let me know.
Answer the postcard chat.
Jason Plato, isn't it, actually?
Oh yeah, work for Boy and Girl.
Taking a while for these drivers to ready up here, so not sure what the situation is at the moment. Here we go then. All 14 drivers are still out there on the track. We are all syncing up. No Mercedes-Benz will take that 50th pole in the Pro-Am. We are green and go. And that is a great start from Bryn, who splits everybody. A tap on the rear of Uckbar from Multi. Did Bryn jump the start? That's the question. But Bryn ahead of Dean into turn 1. They lean on each other a little bit. And Dean, very, very deep, was never going to make that stick. There's a spinner in the background. That is a Mercedes-shaped car. And Dean rejoining very slowly. What has happened to him? Bryn's gone a little deep at turn 2. Is Dean back up to pace now? Yes, he is. Shane and Stealth Sloth have not had the best of starts as well. But Uckbar now leads as Bryn's dropped down to 4th. Dean went so deep at turn 1, Kieran, he braked way too late.
Well, like I said in the qualifying, I thought turn 1 may be an issue because no one knows the braking distance in the dry. They've all already had wet practice so far tonight.
Uckbar leads then from Holty. Bryn's up into 3rd ahead of DJ Phil as through the chicane they all come. Holty then is in 3rd. The cameraman's just picking him up. He's 2nd place. He's been passed by Bryn now. So did he have a moment out of the chicane? Because Bryn got the run on him. And through the 2nd chicane. Oh, Bryn too greedy and everybody's got to avoid him. And Dean hits him head on. Everybody managed to avoid Bryn, bar Dean. Bryn now gets out of the way when we're safe to do so. And that is Gev. Uckbar the best lead he can have. Max only up to P9. Liam up to 7th at the minute. Lucas Roth in between them. Holty's now deep at the hairpin. Could allow DJ Phil the chance to go through. Ugbar checked out. Dean fourth. Welshie fifth. There is that Bozzy Boy getting past Little Leach to Liam. Passing Little Leach then. And already proving that the Mercedes in the dry is the car to watch. Lucas Roth looking up the inside of Little Leach. Little Leach taps the back of Welshie, that looked like. And Bozzy Boy and Little Leach were side by side there. Dean looking for a way past DJ Phil. As Max is now looking on the back of Little Leach. And Welshie tries to cut Liam off. And couldn't do so. And a flash of the lights from Welshie there. As we start the second lap. Dean right around the outside of Welshie. Job done as Bozzy wide at turn one. Kieran, a bit of a crazy start in the dry here.
I think it's showing the difference between the quick drive at the front and the slower drive at the back. Say they're trying to force their way through instead of being patient.
Welshie now up the inside of DJ Phil, and DJ Phil has to be on the brakes and chops Welshie's nose off on the inside of the corner. Oh, and there goes Little Leach. DJ Phil, oh, it's carnage. Absolute carnage here at turn 3. And there is drivers everywhere. Oh, and Phil! Oh, that is dangerous. And this has such a pro-am feel about it at the minute.
I'm sort of looking forward to tomorrow night. Normally when Pro-Am's bad, Pro tend to be good and vice versa.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way at the minute. So that will be Little Leach, you'd imagine, into the pits with big damage. Max then is now up to third. He's now up to second because Holty has dropped it and he's down into 5th place. But look at Lucas Roth looking underneath Max as they come through the left-hander up and over the hill. They've got the hairpin. Lucas Roth will have the inside line. Later on the brakes than Max, gets it stopped, gets it turned in and does a brilliant job. And you have to say that Lucas Roth will pull away from Max on this part of the straight. He'll be able to stretch his legs and flex them Mercedes muscles. Dean was socky in the background, but this, Kieran, Ugbar 14 seconds up the road, he has gone.
But following in race 1, can he be consistent?
Can he be consistent? That is the biggest question. Lucas Roth, a big wiggle out the chicane. That's allowed Max through. But look at Keegs, back up the inside. The Mercedes grunt has enough to get past. Job done. Bryn's in the pits. That's possibly for damage. That one,
should be coming in a bit.
Yeah, I imagine Welshie will be in. So Bryn is in. That'll be for damage.
Doesn't look that bad. It's not showing damage.
Yeah, we can't see, can we? Little Leach is also in. That one is bad. No spoiler is when you know it is a bad one. DJ Phil, will we see him in the pits? Ugbar's already gone. Stealth Sloth 11th place. Shane's up to 9th on only his third outing. He didn't make race 2 last week. Max then trying to get on the back of Lucas Roth, and half distance the race will come, so the drivers know if they keep their eyes out on it. Lap 11, the rain should be coming, which means Lucas Roth here has got some work to do. He's got to pull that gap. He's got to close in on Ugbar. He's got to pull that gap. Lucas Roth, that Bozzy Boy and Welshie. Dean's had a problem because he's dropped behind these two, and that Bozzy Boy and Welshie have come together again. And what is going on here? Absolute chaos in the Pro-Ams early on in this race. Little Leach asking what that was from his incident. And Welshie's major damage. He's going to have to come into the pits. You imagine that Liam will come in as well. As that is Shane trying to get past Welshie here, but can't seem to do so because Welshie's car is all over. That is damaged. Look at Welshie, he's so damaged. He's trying to stay out of Shane's way, but can't do so. Welshie, rightly so, in the pits he comes. You imagine Liam will follow him in. Bryn is out the pits. Little Leach is out the pits. DJ Phil has been in there for some time. Ugbar has a 17-second lead. From Lucas Roth, from Max, who's a bit further back than Keegs. Keegs managing to drop Max at the moment. Holty is a bit behind. He's currently some 5 seconds behind. Liam didn't pit there. So that is interesting for Bozzy Boy. He carries on his way then. Dean's back up to 5th place. With JM Grill in 6th. Shane on his third outing is in 7th. So absolutely flying at the minute is Shane. What was his last lap? 1:43, so a bit down on his pace, but look at that. All he's got to do is do the Kelly approach. JM Grill's had a moment. Cameraman not picking him up. That's Stealth Sloth in the background who's had a moment as well. JM Grill then loses out to not only Shane, but he's got Smithy closing on the back of him. Joke says Welshie in the chat.
I've got a feeling the stewards will be busy this week.
Yeah.
If you're getting the footage for them.
Yeah, I've got a feeling you may have to speak with Dan a little bit. You may need someone to record your footage tomorrow, Kieran. You've got 2 important replays, I think, saved on your screen.
Stream anyway.
There we go. There we go. So that's fine. You'll be okay. Stealth Sloth then, P10, has Bryn gaining on the back of him. Bryn has pitted though. Ukbar 18 seconds clear of Lucas Roth, who is 3 seconds quicker last lap than Max. Holty and Dean was also quicker than Max. So Max clearly good in the wet, but in the dry, just a little off the pace maybe here. As Lucas Roth, some 6 seconds ahead of Max. Max is only 5.7 ahead of Holty. There is Max up the road. Dean gaining on Holty as well. Dean actually 1.6 quicker last lap. Even though you imagine Dean's going to be carrying some damage, he did hit Bryn head on quite hard. Dean looks like he's got a decent car underneath him. As here comes that Bozzy boy, P8, ahead now of Smithy. So he's got JM Grill just up front. As JM Grill had a moment then because there was a car sounded very slow and off. Up and over the hill he comes. I wonder if that was just Shane just struggling a little bit. Either way, that Bozzy boy isn't too far off the back of these. And Shane, who by the way, raced last week, race 1. Even though he retired, he was on the pad. I spent all week on the game. And then at the weekend, Bryn has upgraded his wheel and sold Shane his T150. So Shane's now on the steering wheel on his second race. So really, actually, a good improvement from Shane. And you can see that the time he's spending on the game is really paying off here in terms of his performance being a lot better. He's up to 6th place. So showing how good he's going at the minute. Dean's up to 5th and on the back of Holty within a second of him now. Max just pulled a bit of a gap over Holty. A bit quicker last time around. As Lucas Roth and Ukbar are pulling out front there. Ukbar's 20 seconds clear and Lucas Roth 7 clear of Max. But the rain we know is on its way. And for the guys that's pitted early, may have to pit again. We've lost a driver. Who have we lost there? DJ Phil then. So DJ Phil will not be able to qualify next week. And it's unlike DJ Phil to not finish a race. But there we go. And when teams lose constructors fights or drivers lose places in the championship and they wonder why, well, that's why, because they don't get to the end of races. DJ Phil then out of this one. So the lowest drivers can finish is down in 13th place. The vote will end soon. Shane has JM Grill right on the back of him with that Bozzy boy, catching here. Now, I think Ukbar's made a mistake this lap, or last lap, look, 142.7 compared to Lucas Roth's 135.8. Keegs is within 15 seconds of Ukbar, so that consistency of Ukbar just letting him down at the minute. Does he have a bit of front-end damage? That front splitter doesn't look straight. Was that a spot of rain? Kieran, is it spitting here?
My phone doesn't tell me it's raining just yet, but it does look like it on the screen.
Yeah, on the screen. Max then into the pits at the end of lap 6. So right on time for the pit window. Max in. Now, is that too early for him? Little Leach is in. Again, so he has pitted for a second time in this race. They've seen a spot of rain or two. Does that mean... It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to dry, though. That Bozzy boy is in. Sorry, it doesn't mean it's going to get wet straight away. It's spitting. I think they could have...
Done another couple of laps.
Yeah, got another look. Max in the chat. That crash at the start gave me so much damage. So is he repairing damage as well as maybe changing the tyres? If he isn't changing tyres, oh dear, Stealth Sloth as well is in the pits. So we are seeing so many drivers here come into the pits then for a change of boots. And this is Gav Shane P5, it's Gav Dean P3, Holty's up to 3rd, and Lucas Roth can really now sort of come after Ukbar, because if that Mercedes was bad in the wet, the Ginetta didn't look much better. Dean has got past Holty somewhere then, Kieran, and has started to pull a gap over him. So Dean flying at the minute, but when do they pull the trigger?
Holty looks a bit twitchy. I don't know if he's got on the pad or whether he's got damage or not, I'm not sure. But...
I think Ukbar is coming in, or is that Keegs? No, that's Keegs coming in.
And
Who's
Welsh
in
is
with him? Welsh is in as well. Now, is that too early? I wonder.
We ran it yesterday. You could run a fair few laps when it was fitting. It didn't get wet straight away.
Well, don't forget, it's 50% this chance of rain. So, lap 11 before you'd think it'd get wet. Dean is staying out. Holty stays out, as does Ugbar. So, Dean and Holty jump Lucas Roth. Now, where is Max then? Because Max was behind Keegs on track, let's not forget. Second chicane. Keegs is, I think, just gone away from his pit garage. So Max is nowhere near Keegs. So Keegs has got, Walshy as well, look. Even though Walshy's a lap down, has a chance, though, if they're on the wets, then maybe the track getting that little bit wetter to do something. Shane's now up to 4th. JM Grill 5th. Keegs comes out 6th place. I think there's another driver coming in the pits. Bryn's now decided to pull the trigger. So all these guys that pitted early are having to re-pit and get that wet tyre on, because otherwise, why would they be back in? Bryn then will lose out to Max, probably lose out to that Bozzy Boy, and Slough, maybe not Welshie, and Little Each. Ukbar from Dean from Holty. Your top 3 at the minute. Lap times have just dropped into the 1 minute 40s here. So where's Ukbar on the track? Gone through turn 1. So where's Dean Wasocki on the track? Right, let's just go on board Dean's roof camera. A few more spots appearing on the screen. The rain starting to get heavier. It's not wet enough yet. Or is it? Because Dean's gone deep there. Is it getting wet enough? Ukbar a 37.6. What's Dean going to do when he gets to line? Holty's coming in. Dean a 38.2. So the pace is slowing, but I wouldn't say it's wet enough. Right then. So Holty's now in. End of lap 8. No, he's not. Holty's carried on his way. Sorry, apologies. No, he is in. He is in. No, he is in. Holty is into the pit stand. Shane is on the podium at the minute. Who else is that coming in? That's JM Grill in the pits. There is Lucas Roth, who looks like he's been in the wall. Smithy's in as well. Lucas Roth looks like he's missing a headlight on my screen, but goes into P4. Here comes Max. Now, Holty, I think, is on his way out the pits. No, that's through turn 1. Apologies, that was a Cargway through turn 1. Max, then, will jump Holty. Because there's Max, there's Holty. So if Max can get turn 1 right, he will be in front of Holty as he comes through. Away he goes. Right then, Ukbar is in. So look at that. Holty's only just left the pits, and Ukbar has come into the pits. So the end of lap 9, Ukbar's in. Where is Dean? Surely Dean is going to pit this lap. Holty didn't get past that Bozzy Boy, but Bozzy Boy has jumped JM Grill and Smithy. Bryn has jumped JM Grill and Smithy. Bryn's teammate Shane, 3rd. You'd have to think he's going to come in this lap. Surely Dean is going to box. No, and neither does Stove Slough, who's already pitted, actually. Dean hasn't boxed here.
If the Mercedes keeping its tyre for where it's more aggressive.
So Shane and Dean haven't pitted. Dean has the lead of this race just as Ukbar gets going from his pit box. And if Stove Slough is on the wets, you look at Dean on his softs, maybe. Dean is still going. That is Smithy, I do believe, coming out the pits. Because Stove Slough is close to the back of him. Has Dean just pulled a blinder there, Kieran?
Well, we know from last night that the soft tyres that go for a few laps and they've no spray. From what I've seen. So
yeah, Shane is in at the end of lap 9. Let's go on Dean's roof cam again. Let's check out how greasy the surface is. It looks still dry. Let's just listen on the roof cam, see if we can hear the tyres squealing through the corners. Doesn't look wet at all. You can't hear the spray. So that would indicate that it is still dry enough. As Lucas Roth is back in the pits. So Max has got past Keegs. And Max is now on the podium again. Shane going great at the minute. There is no spray. You can't hear the sound of the spray from Dean's car. There is no spray from Dean's car. Right, now it looks like it's a bit shinier, Kieran. It looked a bit shinier at that hairpin. Look at that, yes. Just offline. Starting to become a little wet. So now you'd say is the time that Dean pits. If Dean does another lap, you'd say that's going to cost him. He is in. So everybody has pitted. Keegs is back in. That has ruined his race. Ukbar, second place, should theoretically take the race lead back from Dean. Dean is in. Max is only at the second chicane, so it's how quick Dean can do his stop. Let's go on board Dean a second then. We'll keep our eyes on the white dot on the track map. So there's Dean, cameraman. Picks him up. So the first white dot you see, Ukbar's past him. The white dot coming up towards the hairpin is Max. So he's only 3 corners away from Dean. Dean's having a change of tyres. Dean's dot's still not moving yet. If Max gets through that chicane before Dean moves, Max will have the position. Dean's still not away. Did he leave it a lap too long? Dean's still not away. And you get the feeling that Max then, yes, look, Max is going to be past Dean Wysocki. Halty's a bit too far back, but Max will be into second place. And Dean drops to third. But Dean was behind Max before the pit stops. Dean has basically gained a place over Lucas Roth. Bozzy Boy's up to 5th. He's hunting Halty down. Where's JM Grill, his teammate? He's down in 11th. So not a good set of points for My Mate Racing yet. Dean then out the pits and in 3rd place. Ahead of Halty. Ahead of that Bozzy Boy. Shane, 6th place. What a 3rd race for Shane here. He's got his teammate behind him. But Shane doing absolutely brilliant at the minute.
Bryn's at the moment.
Yeah, he did have his teammate behind him. Bryn's just had a bit of a spin. Manages to stop it from going in the barrier. And that then will keep Bryn on his way. Lucas Roth's been in. He must have had damage somewhere. So Lucas Roth has been in. He's now on his way. And here goes Ukbar. 26 seconds over Max he's got. And we saw Max dominant in the rain in the first race. He's got half this race in the wet. To keep himself going. Anybody close out there on the track at the minute? No, they're all quite spread out again. Walshy trying to catch JM Grill. Little each last. And Ukbar, look, already. The first lap of it being super wet. And Ukbar has gone round. And unlapping himself will be Little Each, I do believe. So Ukbar then has lost the rear. That might also be Smithy, actually. Kieran, the Ginetta was bad in race 1 in the wet. It's not looking great at the minute either.
It just looked like the rear just let go mid-corner and it's just not got enough downfall or suspension in the rear to hold it round.
Max only 17 seconds off the back of Ukbar. Halty's got past Dean into 3rd and that Bozzy Boy is now gaining on the back of Dean Wysocki. There's Halty. You see the headlights in the background. That'll be Dean. And then behind Dean will be that Bozzy Boy. So Halty, Dean Wysocki coming into turn 1 now. And then that Bozzy Boy will come into view. There he is. And you have to say, if you're Dean Wysocki, you've maybe... What have you done there? Did you just pit a lap too late for the wet tyres? Got to score points. Ukbar and Dean retired race 1, let's not forget. So they've got to get points back. Lucas Roth has got past Bryn. So has Bryn had another moment because his time has stumbled down there quite significantly. Oh, he's in the pits, that's why. So did Bryn pit too early then, Kieran?
Maybe pitted too early and didn't put wets on me, I don't know.
So what a bad night for Bryn. Ukbar currently leading this race. And he's chasing Bryn down in the championship for that second place spot. Here though comes Dean Wysocki. What car is Max in? He's in the Audi, Jamie. As Halty leads the way from Dean and that Bozzy Boy. I say leads, he's 3rd and 4th. Dean though just losing touch to Halty and falling, you'd say, into the clutches of that Bozzy Boy. And Liam was arguably the best Mercedes in race 1 in the wet conditions, so knows what these conditions are like. Dean retired race 1, so you have to favour Bozzy Boy to get past Dean here. Within a second, he does, doesn't he? I'm just thinking that. Liam's within a second of Dean. And you just have to say that Bozzy Boy had the best of the conditions for the Mercedes drivers in race 1. Yes, all right, the race win's probably not on, but he's maybe looking at another podium. quicker than Holty on the last lap by some 0.7 of a second, and a lot quicker than Dean, some nearly 2 seconds quicker than Dean. And it's only a matter, it's a matter of when, not if, Liam can get past Dean then. They've both caught Holty. The puddles don't look too bad at the minute through turn 2. So is Dean just being a bit too overcautious maybe? Into turn 3. Them puddles, yeah, they've not properly formed yet. So is Dean just being overcautious when the puddles aren't there? But he's got to remember the puddles will come. On board with Bozzy Boy. Look at the amount he's gaining on Dean through this section of the track, through the chicane. Oh, takes a lot of curb, and you just see Liam didn't get the best run there, hitting that curb so very hard. Oh, using all the curb there, Liam really pushing the limits, and Dean struggling compared to that Bozzy Boy. Max has pulled 4 seconds over Ukbar last time around. The gap's down to 12 seconds, but we'll stay with Bozzy Boy for the time being, who's really catching on Dean and just pulls out a little bit there to have a look, but can't get past. The spray is now getting thicker and bigger. Oh, Dean just has a wiggle and nearly comes across that Bozzy Boy, who looks to have the run on him, but no can do there. Now Bozzy Boy tucks in. Does he think of the send it manoeuvre into the chicane? Dean doesn't defend it, and here comes that Bozzy Boy, and Dean lets him by. Well, that wasn't putting up a fight, was it?
But if you're Dean, you're taking the point for 5th rather than fighting and potentially making a mistake.
Yeah. Either way, you're fighting. This is the team Dean's fighting. I know he's on his own because Leon Fernie's not turned up tonight, but with J.M. Grill not scoring many points and Liam behind you in the championship standings, halfway point of the season, Liam's had a podium to Dean's one, and Liam's not even done as many races yet, so Dean doesn't want to let drivers through too easy though all night, does he? Because if he starts letting Liam through a lot more, if Liam makes a mistake, what does Dean do then, Kieran? Does he let him through again? That's the question.
It depends on Dean's confidence and what pace he feels like he's got, especially after retiring in race 1 due to the wet conditions.
That is Walshy and Bryn in the background. So Bryn looks like he's trying to get on the back of Walshy. Wants to get, in fact, has tucked underneath Bryn, and that's a good move from Walshy. Walshy went a little deep, and Bryn gets past him, so good job. Max took 5 seconds last lap out of Ukbar. And there is Ukbar. 9 seconds up the road from Max, a 45.4. So Max, really, in that Audi, has really got the pace. We've seen it in race 1, and he's really got the pace here in race 2 as well, hasn't he, to back that up?
He's definitely got more wet weather pace compared to the other guys. I think start of the race when it was dry, I think he was on par with the likes of Lucas Roth and Ukbar.
Dean's got past that Bozzy Boy again by a couple of seconds as well, 2 seconds. So now then, Liam's made the mistake. What does Dean do this time? Does Dean let him go again, or what does Dean do? That's the question. Holty's sort of pulling away up front. He was some 5 seconds quicker than Dean last time around. Bozzy Boy then has clearly made a mistake, dropped behind Dean. Unless Dean's found some pace, let's take a look at the lap times. But Holty, P3, he's already through turn 1 before Dean and Liam's at the line. So Dean did a 46.6. Liam a 50, so Liam in the 50s clearly states that Liam's had a mistake there then. 13 drivers as we've lost DJ Phil. Max from Ukbar, from Holty, from Dean, from that Bozzy Boy. Shane having a fantastic race. The vote will go up for driver of the day in just a moment. Lucas Roth, where's he on a recovery drive? P7 at the minute, just ahead. In fact, I say just ahead, 28 seconds ahead of this battle. Smithy trying to get past old Sloth, has Ukbar in the middle of him. So has Ukbar got damage? Because he's missing a headlight on my screen.
Yeah, damage from for a while now, but these back markers aren't doing him any favours.
He's on the grass there. Ukbar really struggling now then. And if Ukbar has to pit, that will bring Holty and Dean, maybe even Liam into play here. Max, 6 seconds behind.
On my screen, Max is in front.
No, yes, actually, sorry, apologies. On my screen, Max is in front. No, you're right. Max some 7 seconds up the road. Holty is coming in. So now with Holty pitting, we said the Ginetta wasn't great in the wet. He's proving it again. Ukbar's pitting, apologies. This could give Holty and Dean the chance to be on the podium. Right then, Dean, if Liam catches you this time, do you let him through for a podium or do you take it yourself? Here comes Holty. Ukbar's only just in the pits. Ukbar has possibly thrown away a race win. There's Holty, there's Dean, there's Liam. Shane nowhere near. You'd imagine Ukbar will be on his way before that. In fact, Ukbar, no, the dot's not moving yet. So Ukbar down to 5th. Right then, he's just pulled away, I do believe. I heard his car rev in the garage. No, still not moving, actually. Shane's coming up towards that final chicane now. He's got Lucas Roth charging on him. Ukbar still not away yet. Well, when you say that Bryn needs a miracle for Ukbar to not gain points on him in this championship, he's just been given one. And when Little Each is last by a big margin, a minute behind Bryn, Ukbar's now out the pits. Can Shane get past him? Ukbar's just coming off the limit, and now I think Shane's got him.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Lucas Roth will have him as well. Where is Lucas Roth? There. Oh, this one's going to be a bit tighter. Here comes Ukbar. Oh, wow. Well over the line there from Ukbar. But gets behind, more importantly, does drop behind Lucas Roth down into 7th place. Shane's up to 5th. Dean's on the podium. Dean's got Liam within a second of him. Now, Ukbar's off again already. And I think bounced off the wall. Let's just jump to Dean. A second and a bit to Liam. So this battle coming down to it again. Now then, lap 16 of 22. Does Liam try and attack Dean for that podium? Does Dean give Liam the place again? These are both as well catching Holty. So a chance for both these two to be on the podium. There's Bryn about to be lapped by Holty. And there's Lucas Roth, not really fighting anybody at the minute, but catching Shane. Let's jump back to Bozzy. That gap just under a second. We'll stay with this because this is half a second now between these two. And let's go on Dean Wasocki's point of view. Let's see if he lifts for Liam like he did at the last chicane. No, he's really keeping it going this time. Some 3 seconds slower, a little slower than Holty as well. But Dean really wanting. There's Holty. Dean can see him. Second place on the table here for Dean. Maybe not, because he absolutely revved it mid-corner. That might give him 1 or 2 damage. That's going to hurt the rear wheels a lot. Spinning them up like that. And that is Bozzy Boy on his way. And Dean then retired race 1 through doing that. Was catching Holty. And that's that gone. Right, Lucas Roth within a second now of Shane. Ukbar on the back of these two. After losing out because of a spin at turn 1, Lucas Roth sliding through turn 1. Shane is getting stronger and stronger. JM Grill's had a spin. Welsh has to avoid. Smithy's involved in this. Oh, Smithy's round. JM Grill, I think, has gone round. Wow, what has happened there? Where's Welshie? Nobody is emerging from this corner. Bryn does. So Bryn has found 3 places. There's Holty, there's Smithy, there's Welshie. JM Grill has lapped a few of them boys as well. Buzzy Boy has lapped them. JM Grill drops to 12th. Welshie! What has happened there? Well, he's lost out massively. Who's that behind him? That's JM Grill. Liam now puts the lap on him. And Shane is under pressure. Let's go back to Shane and Lucas Roth. That gap just over 2 seconds now. So Shane just extending his legs a little bit here. Look how cautious he's taking it through the corners. He's learned from race 1. Lap 17 of 22. Lap 18 if you're Max, you're on. And Super Max at the minute. That's what they'll be chanting. Leads this race by 28 seconds. He didn't put a foot wrong in the rain in race 1. He's not put a foot wrong in the rain here. Bozzy Boy back on the podium once again as well at the minute. Lucas Roth then within 1.5 seconds of Shane. Ukbar just slowly dropping back. Bryn's gaining on Stealth Sloth. Oh, that Mercedes all night, Kieran, has looked very twitchy under the brakes in the wet conditions.
It just looks so tail happy, especially corner exit as well, when it's like sector 1, it's just power sliding through each of the corners.
The gap though under a second to Shane, so Keegs has managed to bring that gap down, although it just got extended through turn 1, just a tenth or 2. Ukbar's not being able to catch in the background. Liam's within 3 seconds of Holty now, so Liam really trying to gain on Holty. And this is where turn 2 and 3 is where the cars are struggling. Where's Ukbar? He has dropped 2 seconds off the back of Keegs, so he's had a wobble somewhere. Stealth Sloth is within 2 seconds of Bryn now. So Bryn gaining on Stealth Sloth. And they've got Holty and that Bozzy Boy gaining in the background as well. Dean's now 11 seconds behind Liam. Bryn under a second, that gap became there. Lucas Roth's now under a second to Shane. Ukbar has gained a bit of time as well over the pair of them two. Oh, Stealth Sloth's been passed by Bryn. So Stealth Sloth made a mistake there. Yeah, you'd say so. Look, 11 seconds slower than Bryn on the last lap. So Stealth Sloth loses a place. JM Grill has got past Welshie. Welshie's round at the final chicane. So not the night for him as Dean puts a lap on him. Let's go back to Lucas Roth and Shane a minute then. In fact, Stealth Sloth's got back ahead of Bryn. So let's go to Stealth Sloth and Bryn. That's Liam. Bryn's now back ahead of Stealth Sloth. Strange, not sure what's happened there. Liam has put a lap on the pair of them. And Liam's lost a bit of time to Holty. Bryn can now go after Ukbar, and Shane has got Keegs now right on the back of him. It's all about managing the end of this lap. Is this Max's first? Max's first round was race 1 where he took a lights to flag win. This the battle though for P5. Shane 5th at the minute. 20 seconds off the back of Dean. Not lapping too much slower compared to Dean. Shane really putting up his own little fight here. Poll going out for driver of the day. We'll get mine and Kieran's opinions at the end. So the poll going up then for your driver of the day. Make sure you hit that button. If you think it's anybody else other than that, get it in the chat. Lucas Roth really gaining on the back of Shane now. And look at the difference it makes coming down towards the second chicane. Here comes Lucas Roth on the back of Shane, but thinks better of it into this chicane. He's seeing how cautiously Shane takes it. And with the puddles about, it's making it a little more dangerous. Bozzy Boy within 2 seconds of Holty. So we'll jump to that in a moment. We'll just stay with this one. In fact, we won't look because Bryn trying to unlap himself from that Bozzy Boy. What did Bryn do last time round? A 55.6. Not the best of laps. Did Bryn make a mistake or has Liam just lapped him? I wonder if that's why he's so close. Let's go back to Shane and Lucas Roth. He's holding his own, isn't he, Shane, out there, Kieran?
It's not doing too bad. Bear in mind if you first race, especially one of the first races.
Oh!
Back of him.
Yeah, nearly in the back of him, and that is Gev Ukbar. P6, Lucas Roth had to take across the gravel look to rejoin and loses out to Ukbar. So Keegs down to 7th. So that gives Shane a bit of breathing space then at the minute. Dean lapping. Oh, Lucas Roth, yeah, I agree. Stealth Sloth's in the pits. He's dropped. Oh, the Janetta, yep. Don't forget, that might not have repaired it in the pits. It might have done for him, but not visually for us, excuse me. Stealth Sloth still in the pits. Where is Little Leech? Little Leech is coming up to the hairpin. So Little Leech might get an extra place here. Not the round he'd have wanted. And with Bryn now in 8th, Bryn will be starting to pull back some more points. James Griller's got past Walshy and Smithy. Good for the constructors. The main team that's going to score good points in the constructors here, a Teletubby Motorsport then. But Liam on the back of Holty. Let's go to it. Oh no, Shane's dropped it. Let's go to Liam. Within a second of Holty now. 2 laps to go. In fact, yeah, 2 laps to go. Shane's on lap 21. Lap 21 and 22 to go. Holty has been a little slower than Liam these last couple of laps. Dean's made another mistake, so makes he's dropped even further back. And that's Gev Ukbar and Lucas Roth, the place over Shane. But let's stay with this battle at the minute. Who so far, look at these two go. There's a car off at turn 1. It is a back marker. Is that Stealth Sloth? It is, just after coming out the pits. So Little Leech has passed him, and Stealth Sloth has had another mistake. Bozzy Boy, the best of the Mercedes in race 1, knows these conditions better than Holty. All up the curb there, that's not where he wants to be. Now has a chance to get past Holty. That is Little Leech a bit slow there. And Holty just gapping that Bozzy Boy a little bit more. Up and over the curb goes Bozzy. Oh, Puddles. Oh, Little Each slow to let the leaders through. And I thought Bozzy was going to T-bone Little Each on his own there. Puts it in the walls. There must be a puddle on the brow of the hill. Here comes Liam, though, for a set of second places. Oh, Holty. Round. Now, did he start to lose that? Was there contact? I'm not sure. There's another car off as well. That sounds like Little Each. Dean's nowhere near at the minute. So Dean will not catch Holty, who's back on his way. I think Little Each has had a mistake. Yes, he has. Stealth Sloth has got back through, and Bryn has lapped him. That's Welshie with no rear wing now. A flash of the lights from the young Welsh, Fishy Welsh. And Welshie with no rear wing. That could give Stealth Sloth and Little Each another place, although he's only got to get to the end because Max is on his last lap. Where is Max? After all of this, he's there. Coming through the chicane now, so he's on his way to the end of this. Anybody close on track within a second? No, everybody is spread out again, so we'll stay with Max. We'll keep our eyes on the timing screen. Lucas Roth has got past Uckbar. There's Uckbar, look in the background. Welshie goes that extra lap down on Max so that he can finish the race. Shane, Jamie's saying that Holty started to spin before Liam tapped him, so that's what it looks like from the viewer's point of view. But this man, Kieran, he's been phenomenal tonight.
Not put a foot wrong. He wasn't necessarily the quickest in the dry, but he's shown his pace in the wet.
Truly a rain specialist here and stamping his authority already. And for Max Mulder, it's going to be the London buses, as Kieran Argent would say himself. One brings two. That is a slow Audi of Smithy, I do believe, and a flash of the lights, rightly so. And Max takes the London buses. Now then, Bozzy Boy, he's got Holty 3 seconds behind him. Look at that. Bozzy Boy had a mistake because he looked very slow there. That Stealth Sloth in between for 12th. Because Welshie would have finished by now. So for Bozzy, a pair of second places maybe. Holty's right on the back. Although if Holty has a big enough mistake, Dean's only 19 seconds behind. I think it's a bit too late in the lap for it to be that big. For that Bozzy Boy, though, he's just got to get the final chicane bang on. Little Each on the back of Stealth Sloth for 13th and 12th place in the background. That Bozzy Boy, though, looks like he's going to come to the line and take a second place again here. Great result for him. Holty back on the podium with a third place. We'll get Holty in the chat as well. Great result for that Bozzy Boy. Holty with a third place. Little Each just behind Stealth Sloth. Little Each, I think, got him at the line. Dean lets Bryn go there. So Dean, what could have been for him in 4th place? Maybe a podium, but he did drop it on his own. Bryn, a P8, a decent recovery drive. I think he's pitted 3 times in this race as Bryn, but a set of P8s for him will be a good result for him. He'll take that. He span at the very end. Dean, though, a P4. He gives us a flash of the lights. He'll be pleased to finish that one and score some points. Bryn for a P8 just ahead of JM Grill, who will cross the line in 9th. That is Lucas Roth, who's going to cross the line P5, so a good haul of points for him as well. Uckbar, where is Uckbar? He's crossed the line P6 already. P7 for Shane, that is a great result for Shane. P9 for JM Grill, P10 for Smithy, P11 at Welshie, P12 Little Each, P13 Stealth Sloth. We lost DJ Phil, fastest lap of the race, 37.7 for Max, 35.1 from Uckbar, 33.3 from Uckbar. Uckbar then, fastest lap of the race, Kieran. Let's get Holty in and hopefully that Bozzy Boy will come in as well as Uckbar takes the fastest lap. Your votes for driver of the day have ended then. Max gets your vote for driver of the day. Not good. This track needs to be dry for good racing. Race 2 was a shambles, says Little Each. I think a few Pro-Am drivers need wet weather lessons. Shambles from everyone, says Smithy. Well done, Max, Bozzy and Holty. Max, though, gets the driver of the day from the viewers' vote. Kieran, did you get Holty in?
I've done it already. Wait for him.
Brilliant. Right, just waiting for him, Liam and Max to get in the chat. As we sort the tables out now. And we head to the halfway stage of the season then next week at Spa, and Little Leach's championship lead is down to 21 points. Ukbar cutting it to 31 with Holty now 4th place. JM Grill back up into 5th ahead of Lucas Roth, but they're tied on points. Welshie's in 7th place. Dean Dews dropped down to 8th, 3 points off the back of him. Smithy in 9th with DJ Phil 10th. Stove Sloth tied with DJ Phil in 11th. Max though P12, Liam P13 and Shane in P14. In the Constructors' Championship, though, it looks like this. Pick & Mix Motorsport now 30 points clear of Teletubby Motorsport, who have cut that gap. Terminal Velocity Racing pulls some points back as well. They're only 42 behind. MC Motorsport are 73 behind. And Super Crash Bros and My Mate Racing tied on 149. Getting quicker, My Mate, with Dean on his own on 91 points. And our sports haven't scored. We've got that Bozzy Boy, and I don't believe we've got Holty in just yet. Now, I think we might have, actually. We've got someone in. Yeah, we have got Holty in. So we will start with Holty if he's there. He is there. Very well, thank you. How was that one?
Really tricky. It's Mercedes all over the place. Better setup. Obviously, it's looked at the wet forecast, dry to wet. So I just went with wet setup to start with. Just struggled driving that.
Yeah, good comeback drive at the end, though, to get that podium. You just lost out to Liam towards the end of that race. Obviously, a good result to say the night didn't start great for you.
No, that's it. The first race, the game crashed, so I got kicked out. I was looking to get 2nd place then. I think that Bozzy Boy tapped us in the chicane, but I'm happy to be back up here and get some good points.
Yeah, good points for you, good points for the team as well. The team now sitting 2nd in the Constructors' Championship. You're sitting 4th in the Drivers' standings. So it is good points for you. We go to Spa next week, a track that's very familiar to all of us. Are you looking to do a bit more around there?
Yeah, just hope I can get on a bit more, do a bit of practicing.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, buddy, for next week, and we hope you obviously get a podium again.
Yeah, thank you.
And we got that Bozzy Boy in as well. And Liam, another 2nd place for yourself in a night that the Mercedes has seemed to struggle.
Oh, I was absolutely struggling with that. I mean, I know you asked Holty something to do with the incident, I would say, that happened between me and him. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, it was a hard race.
Come away with a P2, though. You must be happy with that. It looked like he was having a good fight with Dean. Dean seemed to let you go a little easier earlier in the race. Then you made a mistake to get back behind him, but he dropped it to get back through. The podiums again, though, to say you've had a bit of unluck at Sakito, bad driving at Road America, and then missing Imola and last week at Kota, that's the way to sort of get your championship back on track.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kieran's got something to say when it comes to buses, when it comes to this. So
I think they're for race wins more than 2nd place. As you go to Spa, though, next week, again, like I said, Holty, a track that you're very familiar with. What can you do around there?
I don't know. All I know is I do really enjoy that track, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, a P1.
Well, we wish you the best of luck for next week. Kieran, your driver of the day and final thoughts from yourself.
You can't really look elsewhere than Max, obviously. With the exception of Q2, he's got the maximum points.
Final thoughts in the racing?
Hoping Pro are a bit more well behaved in the races than what Pro-Am were at the start of race 2, and apart from race 1 at times, but as I say, the weather didn't help things.
Yeah, let's just hope it isn't wet. I'm going to go Max as well, but an honourable mention to Lucas Roth. Shane had a great outing, Holty for his race 2, and that Bozzy Boy as well. But Max takes this clean sweep of driver of the days from the chat and from the commentators box. Dan Davis and Jamie Brazier will be back in the box tomorrow night with the Pro Series. Looks to be drier than tonight. That's the main thing, and I think that's a positive for all Mercedes drivers out there, in fact for all drivers out there, because tonight has looked a little bit of chaos. I'll be back in the commentary box with Jamie Brazier next Tuesday with the touring cars, final round of the top 16, so it is do or die. If you're not in that top 12 next week, you will not be at Knock Hill for the week after. Myself, and I do believe Dan Davis, will be back next Tuesday night for the Pro-Am at the halfway stage of the season at Spa. But thank you very much to Kieran tonight for stepping in for Dan, who is absent. That's it. Excuse me, cough. That's all we've got time for tonight, though, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night.
I have both replays. That
good.
makes it.
I reckon you better text down your notes and say that you've got both replays then, bud.
I need to go back through race 1 to make sure I've got the right names and right corners. And
Can
things
I
like
just
that.
say something, Liam?
I did save both of those for you, by the way.
Thank you very much. Right, Kieran, so if you